oo isagu noogu soo biiri doona haddana nala joogin waxaana la joogo kale Asli Abdi oo iyadu dhinaca sabar maxay ahaynay ku takhasustay dhinaca computerka iyo wixii la halmaala waxa kale oo nala jooga Abdeeq oo isagu coach dhinaca entrepreneurshipka iyo sidii loo xoojin lahaa dhalinyarada leadershipkooga amba ay maalgasho u sameyn lahaayeen amba halabuur u yeelan lahaayeen intaas waxaana noo daadahayn doonta maanta maxay ahaynay mawduucayna maxay ahaynay Xamda Abdi oo iyaduna gabadha firfircoona oo noo daadihin doonta aan maqli doona codkeeda inta kadib niguma dheereen hadalka shalay baan soo dhaweyn badan inii sameynay waxaan jeclaan lahaa inaad nala dhagaysatiin wixii aad ka qabtiin maxay ahaynay su'aalana weydiisiin habka uu socdo maxay ahaynay hal abuurka dhinaca shaqooyinka amba dhinaca wax maalgashashada Djibouti inaad wax ka dhagaysatiin baan jecelahay oo wax ka fahantiin maxay ahaynay sidaana mawduuceena caawana waxaan isku arki doonaa maxay ahaynay cashada hal uma niga codsanaya inta meesha fadhido oo dhan hadhow toole markuu mawduucu noo dhamaado waxa jiri doona test covid in la wada mari doono marka hadda waa inaad isku diyaarisaan maadaama caawa cashada bila test covid lagu magalayo marka walaalo waxaan niga codsanayaa inuu qof naga maqnaan hadda garanaysiin inuu qof maqan yahay no sheega si aan u soo raadino qofka u keeno intaas waa ku mahadsantiin dhageysiga Je voudrais juste dire un mot à tous mes compatriotes djiboutiens qui nous suivent sur les réseaux sociaux ou ceux qui sont ici en ce moment avec nous. Donc le panel aujourd'hui va être entièrement fait en français. Donc nous parlerons l'entrepreneuriat et le leadership, l'entrepreneuriat surtout et l'innovation à Djibouti. Il y aura des invités qui connaissent dans ce domaine très bien qui vont nous expliquer. Donc veuillez poser vos questions, n'hésitez pas, que ce soit online ou que ce soit en présentiel. Je vous en remercie. Ceux qui seront ce soir avec nous, je voudrais vous demander de rester dans la salle après les 2 sessions, parce qu'il y aura une autre session tout à l'heure. Donc restez s'il vous plaît pour faire les tests, afin que vous puissiez accéder à la cérémonie Award ce soir. Donc derrière Djibouti, espace de réflexion et d'échange, je vous remercie déjà pour votre accompagnement depuis le début, depuis le 2019. C'est un honneur pour nous aujourd'hui d'organiser cette conférence en partenariat avec ISA International Somali Awards, qui sont nos partenaires sur ce domaine et qui sont le mainstream de cette programme. Je vous en remercie, bonne journée et bonne écoute.
Alors, merci beaucoup, Mahmoud. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for our Somali and English-speaking guests. This panel will be in French, and now we will proceed in French. Merci beaucoup, Mahmoud, encore une fois, pour cette introduction. Donc, comme Mahmoud l'a très bien indiqué, aujourd'hui, nous sommes là pour ce panel pour discuter un peu sur la thématique de l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation à Djibouti. Donc, on sait que dans le monde entier, l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation sont des vecteurs d'avancée et de développement, mais on a l'impression qu'à Djibouti, depuis quelque temps, on assiste à un shift, à une transformation du marché du travail également. Donc, beaucoup se lancent dans l'entrepreneuriat, beaucoup veulent innover, mais souvent se pose la question de comment, par où commencer, qu'est-ce qu'il y a à Djibouti pour favoriser, pour aider tout ça. Donc aujourd'hui, nous allons essayer de voir un peu avec nos panélistes comment eux ont réussi dans le monde de l'entrepreneuriat à Djibouti, comment ils se sont un peu démarqués, comment avancent leurs projets respectifs. Et puis nous allons essayer également de voir en matière d'écosystème à Djibouti, qu'est-ce qu'il y a, quelles sont les infrastructures disponibles et comment un peu promouvoir l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation au niveau local à Djibouti. Donc nous allons maintenant nous tourner vers nos panélistes. Chers panélistes, bonjour. Merci de nous faire l'honneur de votre présence. Nous allons également espérer que M. Ilyas nous rejoigne assez rapidement. En attendant, je vais vous laisser la parole pour que vous puissiez vous présenter un peu et que vous nous en dites un peu plus sur vos projets, comment est-ce que ça avance et tous les détails nécessaires.
Bonjour tout le monde. Bon, je vais me présenter rapidement. Je m'appelle Abdek Idriss Youssouf. Je suis entrepreneur dans le secteur de l'investissement. J'ai vu dans la fiche qu'il y avait écrit Race Group, ça a changé. Donc c'est Investis Africa. C'est une boîte d'investissement, de facilitation d'investissement qui travaille avec des groupes d'investisseurs étrangers. Donc on travaille sur deux volets essentiellement. C'est d'un côté la facilitation d'investissement, c'est-à-dire trouver les bénéficiaires et les entreprises prometteuses dans la région pour investir dedans. Le second volet, c'est la mise en place de projets à forte rentabilité économique, à fort impact social et environnemental. Donc, je vous souhaite la bienvenue et voilà.
Salam alaikum. Tout d'abord, je suis honorée de participer à cet événement. Je tiens à remercier les organisateurs de cet événement et je souhaite bienvenue aux membres des ISA. Bienvenue à Djibouti. Donc moi je me présente, je suis Asli, je suis Chief Operating Officer de la société Cybersan et je suis la propriétaire d'un restaurant qui s'appelle L'Héritier à Djibouti. Aujourd'hui je représente Cybersan, c'est une société spécialisée dans le domaine de la cybersécurité qui offre tous les services de protection des systèmes d'information à Djibouti, mais aussi dans la Corne d'Afrique et quelques pays d'Europe et d'Amérique. Donc je pense que c'est bon. Bienvenue.
السلام عليكم af Somali baan ku yara hadli karaa intaanan Faransiiska u gudbin magacaygu waa Ubax Axmed Malow agaasimaha guud ee waxaan ahay xarunta leadership ee entrepreneurial la yiraahdo oo iyadu ku maaragtay ay tahay takhasuskeedu in dhalinyarta hal abuurka ama maaragtay innovationka say u taakulayso ay u garab gasho waa xarun aad u da'yar oo imika 3 sano soo asaasan oo la soo dhisay xaruntaana hadafkeegu iyo hididiiladeedu waxay tahay inay dhalinyarta reer Djibouti ay ku dhiirigeliso si ay yaana waxaan nahay Djibouti hadii dib loogu yar noqdo waxa weeyaan wadan uu Faransiisku soo gumaysan jiray oo waxaan leenahay caadooyin ka gedisan wadanada Anglo-Saxon la yiraahdo ama English speaking countries la yiraahdo oo inuu qofku hadafkiisa weyn noqdo inuu soo dhigto tacliin uu soo qaato degree dadna shaqo dawladda u shaqo tago marka waxa dhacday dhalinyartu Afrikada oo dhanba sideedaba way bateen waa maxaan ku raadiyay waxa weeyaan 50% over 50% waa dhalinyaro marka ama dawladdu ma wada qaadan karto ama maaragtay shaqooyin ma wada gali karaan marka dawladuhu intoodaba waxa ay maaragtay fahmeen inay entrepreneurship ku yahay dariiqad kale oo dhalinyarta lagaga saari karo shaqo la'aanta marka xaruntan waxa loo aasaasay oo loo abuuray say dhalinyarta u taakuleeyaan ama ugu dhiirigeliyaan inay tahay dariiqad kale oo ama amal lagu heli karo ama de qofku isaguba soo saaran karo shaqadiisa ama maaragtay uu noqon karo qof isagu iska xoreeyay de maxay ahaydeenay wax la'aanta marka xaruntaasi waxa ay jirtaa sidaan soo sheegay 3 sanadood waxa aan leenahay maxay departmento ku saabsan sida loo taakuleeyo dadka maaragtay mashaariicda sita dhalinyarta mashaariicda wata waxa ay kale samaysaa kuwa iyagu entrepreneur-ka ah ee dhalinyarta ama startups-ka waxa loo yaqaano inay wixii ka maqan ay u buuxiso si ay uga bixi lahaayeen mashaqada ay leedahay ganacsigu leeyahay talabaad waxa weeyaan adduunku uu isbedelay shaqooyinku way isbedelayaan waabad aragteen covid-ku waxa uu nabaray in aan shaqooyinka jadiidka soo bixi doona inay yihiin kuwa ku salaysan digitalka ku salaysan marka xaruntu iyadu waxay leedahay department ku saabsan innovationka oo dhalinyarta si loogu dhiirigeliyo inay more and more haddii xataa startup ay yihiin ay maaragtay aynan ka iloobin ama ay la jaan qaadaan caalamka oo innovationka oo dhinaca digitalka marka ma wada soo koobi karo waxa aan ka qabanno xarunta waxaan leeyahay horta welcome inta nooga timiday dibadaha diasporaga ka timiday dibadaha waxaan hambalyeynayaa dere maxaa la dhahdaa ururka dere la yiraahdo iyo iisa oo markay saa u bilaabeen maaragtay nala sheekaystay anaguna aad iyo aad baan ugu faraxnay in iisa halkan lagu qabto sanadkan waxaan rajaynaynaa sanadka dambe inay noo soo noqotaan waadsantihiin
Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Je me présente, Ilyas Douxier Boulalé. Je suis le directeur de Illico SARL. C'est une société de fabrication de chaussures et de maroquinerie en tout genre. Donc je suis honoré et merci de votre invitation. Bienvenue à International Somali Award et de nous faire participer. Bienvenue à Djibouti et enchanté.
Eh bien, merci beaucoup, chers panélistes, pour cette présentation. Nous allons rentrer donc très rapidement dans le vif du sujet. Donc, j'aimerais que nos panélistes puissent nous parler un peu, chacun à son tour, pour eux, en tant qu'entrepreneurs, qu'est-ce que l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation de manière générale? Est-ce que vous pouvez nous expliquer un peu pour vous, qu'est-ce que l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation, du coup?
Ok, merci Hamda. Bon, entrepreneuriat. Déjà, je voudrais... Il y a beaucoup de définitions, on peut le définir de plusieurs manières. Donc, je voudrais dire en deux mots, c'est entrer dans le domaine du commerce, dans le marketing, dans le business, et prendre ta part du gâteau. C'est-à-dire, c'est oser entrer, sortir du domaine de travail fonctionnel où on avait l'habitude et oser entreprendre, faire quelque chose, faire du commerce. Et il faudrait avoir donc du culot, du panache. Donc, je voudrais dire que c'est avant tout oser. Et donc, après cela, s'ajoute à d'autres choses, donc le travail, l'abnégation, autre chose. Mais avant tout, c'est oser entrer et prendre ta part du gâteau.
Merci, Monsieur Elias. Monsieur Abder, vous pouvez peut-être intervenir sur cette petite question.
Ok. Je mettrai l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation dans la même catégorie parce que, avant tout, les gens généralement associent l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation à une idée. C'est faux. L'innovation et l'entrepreneuriat, c'est un processus. C'est vraiment dangereux d'orienter, enfin, de penser que ces deux termes sont affiliés à ce qu'on appelle l'idée. Parce que pourquoi? Une idée, c'est pas réel. Une idée, on en parle tous les jours. Ce qui est réel, c'est la mise en place de cette idée-là. Et c'est le processus qui permet de concrétiser cette idée-là. Et ce qui est incroyable avec ce processus, c'est c'est un processus continu. Ça ne s'arrête pas. Je m'explique. Par exemple, dans les projets que j'ai eu à mettre en place, disons que pour un projet, on essaie de faire un brainstorming. On a fait un brainstorming de 400 idées. Sur les 400 idées, 300 ont été implémentées. Sur les 300 idées, 20 ont vraiment changé les choses. Sur les 20 idées, une seule a fait la différence. Donc au final, qu'est-ce que ça vous prouve? Une entreprise, ce n'est pas une idée, c'est une combinaison d'idées. Par exemple, prenons l'exemple d'Amazon. Si je vous dis qu'est-ce qu'est Amazon, vous allez me dire, Amazon, c'est une plateforme d'e-commerce. Pas vraiment. Vous allez me dire, Amazon, c'est une boîte dans le data. Pas tout à fait. Vous allez me dire, Amazon, c'est, je ne sais pas, c'est une entreprise qui offre ses services d'utilisation de serveurs. Pas vraiment. Amazon, c'est une combinaison d'idées qui sont, on va dire, hyper rationnelles. Je m'explique, ça a l'air très confus, mais la chose c'est que l'innovation en soi, on a une vision technocentrée de l'innovation. L'innovation ne concerne pas uniquement un produit bien défini ou un service bien défini. L'innovation, c'est aussi une innovation en termes de process, c'est une innovation en termes d'organisation, c'est une innovation en termes de diminution des coûts. L'innovation en soi, une idée en soi, c'est plus large que ça. Vous allez me dire, par exemple, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, il ne s'est pas un jour assis sur une chaise et il ne s'est pas dit, bon, mon entreprise, ça va être une entreprise qui, let's say, qui va commencer d'abord à vendre des livres en ligne. Puis au bout de quelques années, dès que je me ferai quelques petits milliards de profits, j'investirai ces milliards dans une plateforme de e-commerce. Puis, avec cette plateforme d'e-commerce, je vais investir les profits dans la proposition d'utilisation de serveurs. Puis, je vais prendre le profit qu'il y a dedans, je vais m'accaparer les fournisseurs un peu partout dans le monde pour produire mes propres produits et imiter les produits que fabriquent les gens qui utilisent mes serveurs. Et bim, au bout de 20 ans, j'aurai quelques milliards de dollars dans mon compte en banque. Non. Jeff Bezos, au début, c'est quoi? Il s'est dit, pourquoi pas vendre des livres en ligne? Et il s'est même dit, et c'est ça qui est drôle, c'est la première personne qui achètera mon livre à travers ma plateforme, c'est un fou. Parce que moi-même, je n'oserais jamais utiliser ma carte bleue et acheter quelque chose que je ne connais pas. Donc, qu'est-ce que ça vous montre? Tout le monde a tendance à dire que Jeff Bezos est un visionnaire. Non. Être visionnaire, c'est le résultat de tout un parcours. Et donc, au final, l'entrepreneuriat et l'innovation, même si ce sont des termes très liés, c'est avant tout une question de processus. Et je finirai sur cette petite anecdote, et c'est marrant, c'est que le terme entrepreneur vient du français. Entrepreneurship vient du français. Ça a été un terme créé par un Américain et qui diffère, parce qu'il n'existait pas d'entrepreneur avant. On connaissait le terme équivalent, c'est capitaliste. C'était des gens qui mettaient, si je vous donne un exemple, imaginons des Portugais qui vont aller traverser l'Atlantique, découvrir les États-Unis d'Amérique. Ben, écoutez, il y a 4 capitalistes qui décident, parce qu'ils ne veulent pas prendre trop de risques, de mettre leurs fonds en commun, envoyer des personnes, aller chercher de l'or aux États-Unis. Ils ne savent pas quel va être le résultat. Donc, ce terme de capitaliste s'est transformé en entrepreneur. Parce qu'avant tout, un entrepreneur, c'est quelqu'un qui met en place quelque chose à partir de rien. C'est-à-dire que vous pouvez avoir, et je finirai par cette anecdote-là, désolé, je suis un peu trop bavard, c'est que je me rappelle, il y a quelques années, avant de commencer, j'avais mon prof de master qui fait, écoutez les gens, vous connaîtrez un jour où votre portefeuille qui contient des billets, des cartes bleues, aura moins de valeur que votre portefeuille de business card. Qu'est-ce que ça vous prouve? Le network. Si vous avez le bon network, si vous avez la bonne idée, si vous avez la persévérance qu'il faut, l'argent viendra. Et c'est ça un entrepreneur au final. C'est quelqu'un qui est dans la capacité de transformer une idée en quelque chose de réel et de concret.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Abder. Madame Asli.
Alors, Abder, il a tout dit, hein, j'ai pas grand-chose à ajouter, mais pour moi, en fait, l'entrepreneuriat, c'est créer quelque chose, et l'innovation, c'est continuer la suite. C'est-à-dire, quand on a une entreprise, ça ne s'arrête pas à la première idée qui nous a permis de créer l'entreprise. Donc, ce qu'on fait, c'est qu'à chaque fois, on a d'autres idées et on investit dans les idées qu'on peut avoir par la suite. Donc, comme il l'a dit aussi, mon collègue, être entrepreneur, c'est pas que des idées, c'est oser, c'est avoir le courage, la persévérance. Moi, ce que je veux passer comme message, c'est que il n'y a pas une personne qui est mieux que l'autre. Tout le monde peut entreprendre et tout le monde peut se permettre en fait de créer son idée et la mettre en place.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Asli. Alors, j'aime beaucoup qu'il y ait eu de beaux mots qui ont été abordés dans vos interventions, tels que le networking, aller dans le marché pour prendre sa part du gâteau, mais aussi pour continuer. Une fois qu'on l'a, il faut aussi la pérenniser. Madame Obah?
Merci Hamda. On dirait que l'entrepreneuriat ces derniers temps sont dans les tendances. On parle d'entrepreneuriat, on parle d'écosystème. Tout un jargon qui est des fois qui rend confus un jeune qui veut trouver sa voie. Et il y a tellement de jargon, on ne nous apprend pas à l'école, on ne nous apprend pas à la maison. Donc comment on peut, par exemple, quand on est quelqu'un qui veut prendre sa vie en main ou son destin en main, comment l'entrepreneuriat, pour lui, ça ne veut rien dire. Donc, il y a des définitions qui sont données dans les grandes écoles. Je prends d'ailleurs cette citation d'un professeur de Harvard Business School, professeur Howard Stevenson. Et ça, c'est dans les années 50-60, je dirais. Donc, il dit que l'entrepreneuriat, c'est la poursuite d'une opportunité au-delà des ressources que vous contrôlez. C'est-à-dire, c'est, voilà, tu as un projet, tu veux réaliser ce projet, mais tu n'as pas tout ce qu'il faut pour réaliser ce projet. Et ça, c'est la réalité, en fait. Donc, on peut avoir décelé une opportunité et se dire, ouais, ça serait un bon projet pour moi. Bon, l'étiquette entrepreneuriat est là, mais c'est un instinct de survie. Les personnes, c'est pour gagner de l'argent. Donc, comment les gens trouvent ces idées-là pour gagner de l'argent? C'est quand il y a un besoin quelque part. Donc, cette personne s'engouffre ou se met sur ce créneau ou sur cette niche où il pense qu'il peut faire de l'argent. L'entrepreneuriat, ce n'est ni plus ni moins que de vouloir faire de l'argent. Les moyens, c'est ça qui fait la différence. Enfin, quand je dis je parle de moyens, c'est l'idée, c'est comment le faire, c'est tout le reste, quoi. C'est tout ce qu'il faut, c'est les ressources dont on parle. Donc réellement, l'entrepreneuriat et l'action d'entreprendre, de mener à bien un projet, c'est un processus de découverte parce que c'est pas facile aussi. Hein. Aujourd'hui, on nous apprend comment faire un business plan, un business model, un montage financier et tout ça, mais c'est un processus de découverte avec beaucoup de challenges. C'est un processus d'évaluation et d'exploitation parce qu'on ne connaît pas le marché, il faut vraiment tester son marché, il faut vraiment évaluer savoir quelles décisions prendre. Donc, l'entrepreneuriat est le fait de mener une activité dont on est soi-même l'initiateur. C'est-à-dire, en fait, la personne est carrément le leader de cette idée. Et vraiment, les outils qu'il faut, on n'a pas besoin d'être un diplômé, hein, parce qu'on en reviendra, je pense que sur cette partie-là, qui peut être un entrepreneur, on en reviendra, mais ce n'est pas un diplômé, ce n'est pas quelqu'un qui est bardé de diplômes. Au contraire, des fois, ceux qui ont réussi dans l'entrepreneuriat et qui sont des grands hommes d'affaires ont commencé... Je peux citer Bill Gates, je peux citer plein comme ça, même Mark Zuckerberg, il y en a plein, donc vous pouvez, n'importe qui peut devenir entrepreneur, mais il y a les qualités humaines, les qualités personnelles ou ce qu'on appelle interpersonal skills qui priment pour que l'entrepreneuriat prenne tout son sens ou un projet prenne tout son sens.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Obah. En effet, c'est bien que vous ayez mentionné le fait que quand on parle d'entrepreneuriat, on a souvent cette idée qu'il y ait un profil type d'entrepreneur. Mais on se rend compte très vite qu'il n'y a pas besoin aussi bien de diplôme que d'être un homme ou d'être une femme. Ou l'entrepreneuriat est vraiment ouvert à tous. Et ce que j'aimerais que nos panélistes nous disent un peu aujourd'hui, c'est pour eux, pourquoi par exemple vous avez choisi de vous lancer dans l'entrepreneuriat? Pourquoi est-ce que vous avez choisi de faire ce que vous faites aujourd'hui? Et de nous expliquer un peu, est-ce que vous croyez au mythe du profil type de l'entrepreneur? Monsieur, vous l'avez.
Okay. Pourquoi? Ah, le profil type. Franchement, il n'y a pas de profil. Il n'y a pas de profil, mais il y a un secret. Et c'est le mindset. L'idée, non. L'argent, non. Le réseau, oui, certes, mais c'est le mindset. Je me rappelle, il y a 5 ans, quand j'avais commencé, mes 2 premières semaines, j'appelais ma mère en pleurant littéralement. Je lui disais, mais c'est pas possible. Il faut que je trouve un travail, il faut que je revienne. C'est pas aussi. Les gens pensent que c'est une filière d'excellence. Je suis entrepreneur parce que je suis dans ça. Voici ma business card. Non, c'est une souffrance. On souffre. On souffre parce que il n'y a plus cette sécurité financière. Cette sécurité financière, tu es obligé de l'assumer et de générer cette sécurité. Une fois que tu la génères, que tu es stable. Et c'est ça le problème, c'est que c'est une drogue au bout d'un moment. Et je vous parle du fond de mon cœur, c'est une drogue parce que vous n'allez pas vous arrêter. Vous ne vous arrêtez pas. Ok, vous êtes arrivé à la stabilité, qui était mon objectif. J'avais commencé par un petit restaurant, parce que c'est ce que j'aimais. J'aimais cuisiner, etc. Et au fur et à mesure, j'ai essayé d'autres projets, d'autres petits projets. Je vous avoue que la majeure partie du temps, je me suis raté. Échec sur échec, échec sur échec. Mais le mindset et le mental, c'est les deux choses les plus importantes. La discipline. Sans discipline, non. Vous avez beau avoir 100 millions de dollars dans votre compte bancaire, la meilleure des idées, les meilleurs des partenaires. Vous n'avez pas de discipline. Ces 100 millions-là, c'est à la poubelle. La discipline. Se lever tôt le matin. Moi, j'étais un gros dormeur. Se lever tôt le matin. Faire du sport. Faire du sport, ne serait-ce que pour se sentir bien. Je ne savais pas que le physique et le mental étaient liés. Quoi d'autre? Manger sainement. Ah, moi, j'étais un goinfre. Et non, ça fait partie de la discipline. Se remettre en question. Faire le bilan, méditer en fin de journée. Mais des petits secrets que... Et c'est dommage parce qu'au final, si on regarde YouTube, si on regarde n'importe quel entrepreneur à succès, n'importe quel businessman, posez la question, quel est le secret? La majeure partie du temps, ce que les gens vont vous montrer, c'est le résultat. Au début, vous essayez A plus B, il faut que je trouve C. Donc, j'essaye A plus B parce que j'en dis que c'est A plus B égale C. Vous vous trompez. Et puis, vous réessayez. Vous voyez que c'est A plus B moins Z qui fait C. Mais qu'est-ce que font les gens? Les gens, ils vous montrent C. Ils disent, j'ai C. Et c'est ça qui fait rêver les gens. Mais ils ne savent pas tout le travail que ça a nécessité pour trouver cette formule-là. Donc, le mindset. Une fois que vous avez le mindset, oui, vous allez vous rater une fois, peut-être, 2 fois, 3 fois, mais ça marchera. Donc, le mindset.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Abder. Madame Asli, du coup, pour vous, est-ce que vous pensez qu'il y a un profil type? Et spécifiquement, en tant que femme dans l'entrepreneuriat, on aimerait bien avoir votre avis là-dessus.
Alors Hamda, je dirais non, parce qu'il n'y a pas du tout de profil. Tout le monde est capable de créer son entreprise. Moi, par exemple, ce qui m'a poussée à être autant... J'en rêvais depuis l'âge de 9 ans, hein, parce que moi, je suis de nature assez... je n'aime pas les ordres, donc, et je n'aime pas les exigences. Du coup, j'ai toujours voulu avoir... à 9 ans, je voulais avoir mon restaurant, donc, que j'ai aujourd'hui. Avant d'avoir ce restaurant, moi je suis de la diaspora, j'habite en France. D'ailleurs, je représente notre branche de la société Cybersan à Lyon. Du coup, je suis auto-entrepreneur dans le domaine de l'interprétariat pour l'État français. Donc, j'interprète tous nos dialectes en général de la Corne d'Afrique. Donc, j'interprète l'arabe, le romo, l'amharique, le somalien et l'afar. Donc, ce qui m'a permis, en étant membre de la diaspora, on pense toujours à construire notre pays. Donc, ce qui fait que je voulais rentrer à Djibouti et investir pour penser également à mon pays, parce que je peux très bien investir en France également. Donc, je suis rentrée en France, à Djibouti, j'ai créé mon restaurant. Et ensuite, j'aime les challenges, donc je me suis dit, j'ai découvert la société Cybersan, j'ai découvert Bilal, les fondateurs de la société, qui n'est pas là aujourd'hui, il est en déplacement d'affaires. Donc du coup, qui m'a un peu motivée, et je me suis dit, en tant que femme, pourquoi je ne peux pas faire le domaine, la cybersécurité? Qu'est-ce qui m'en empêche de faire? Donc je me suis dit, pourquoi ne pas être la première femme experte en cybersécurité à Djibouti? Donc, ce qui fait qu'aujourd'hui, j'ai fini ma formation d'audit de conformité en cybersécurité et je suis en train de suivre analyste en cybersécurité en interne. Donc, je remercie Cybersan qui m'a offert cette opportunité. Et du coup, en tant que femme, je pense que dans les autres pays, c'est un peu difficile. Mais à Djibouti, avec un président qui fait de sa priorité le droit de la femme, donc je pense qu'il n'y a aucun problème. Et au contraire, je pense même qu'on a plus d'opportunités à Djibouti.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Asli. Monsieur Elias, moi, je voudrais un peu plus préciser la question. Par rapport au background que vous aviez, parce que je sais que vous étiez médecin avant et puis que vous avez lancé votre société de maroquinerie. Je voudrais savoir comment vous avez fait cette transition.
Eh bien, comme vous l'avez dit, je suis l'exemple type. Un exemple type, donc j'étais carrément à l'ouest. Je faisais un cursus médical, c'est qu'on peut dire en master, c'est-à-dire en DCM1, en deuxième cycle d'études médicales. Donc vraiment, je suis l'exemple type et c'est carrément atypique, on va dire. Parce que c'était plus une idée. Donc, comme l'a dit mon ami Abder, mon camarade, c'est plus une idée qui a vraiment mûri. C'était une graine depuis plus de, on va dire, 15 ans. Depuis la première fois où je suis allé en études au Sénégal, quand je suis allé visiter le village artisanal, ce qu'on appelait, là où on faisait l'artisanat et la maroquinerie, c'était par amour. C'est pour ça, en fait, tout n'est pas qu'une question d'idée. Il faut aimer l'idée, il faut la travailler. Donc, c'est de là que, une année après une année, j'ai commencé à déjà ouvrir mon premier atelier là-bas et à l'envoyer d'ici. Donc, c'est après plusieurs années de travail, je vais dire, que je suis en arrivé à là, aujourd'hui, à ouvrir mon usine à Mouloud. Donc, et c'est plus aussi, comme Mme Oubah le disait, que Mark Zuckerberg ou Bill Gates sont tous des gens qui ont arrêté leur cursus, leurs études en plein milieu de leurs études et qui ont viré vers ce qu'ils aimaient. Donc, faudrait bien aimer l'idée, la faire travailler, ruminer et aussi avec une bonne hygiène, comme M. Abder l'a dit, c'est-à-dire dormir, bien manger sainement, avoir le mental et le physique avec.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Elias. On va laisser Madame Oubah rajouter un dernier mot avant de passer la parole au public.
Très bien. Alors, je pense que tout le monde a cette fibre entrepreneuriale en lui. Je pense que tout le monde, hein, sans exception. Parce que, comme on disait tout à l'heure, l'entrepreneuriat, c'est cet instinct qui nous pousse à vouloir faire de l'argent, à survivre. Parce que c'est ni plus ni moins que ça. Sauf que, avec cette fibre-là, il faut on va dire, des compétences soft, ce qu'on appelle. Donc le courage de se lancer, parce que entreprendre, c'est prendre un risque, c'est de se lancer dans une aventure qu'on ne sait pas si on va échouer, si on ne va pas échouer, si ça réussira du premier coup, si ça prendra du temps. Donc il faut vraiment avoir le courage pour pouvoir, comment dire, se lancer à réaliser un projet et d'assumer les responsabilités et les résultats. Le deuxième, hein, c'est juste des indications comme ça que je vais donner, c'est la volonté, parce que durant cette aventure, on aura, enfin, chaque entrepreneur a ses petits échecs, a vraiment des challenges qu'il doit relever, et la volonté, c'est important. C'est vraiment cette persévérance qu'il ne faut pas perdre, même au-delà, hein, même quand ça marche, quand ça se passe bien, il y a toujours... De toute façon, vous connaissez quand une entreprise atteint son niveau le plus haut, s'ils ne se réinventent pas, s'il n'y a pas de l'innovation dans ce qu'ils font, ils vont se retrouver à avoir des services qui ne sont pas de qualité ou des produits qui demandent la qualité. Et il y a cette persévérance qu'il faut avoir, cette volonté qu'il faut avoir. La créativité est un autre point qui est très important pour l'entrepreneur, hein, c'est de se faire une place dans le marché parce que les marchés sont très concurrentiels et c'est carrément, quand on parle de l'innovation, l'innovation est un aspect qui a un lien avec la survie de l'entreprise. Aujourd'hui, vous pouvez avoir tellement d'entreprises ou tellement de services. On a tellement le choix, il y a tellement de concurrence que l'entreprise qui fait la différence, qui a cette valeur ajoutée, va réussir par rapport à celles qui sont là juste dans le marché. Et il ne faut jamais dormir sur ses lauriers. Le leadership est important aussi, parce que bien qu'on ait des collaborateurs, bien qu'on ait des gens qui travaillent avec nous, le fondateur ou le chef d'entreprise est celui duquel on attend qu'il guide ses collaborateurs, qu'ils prennent les décisions. Donc le leadership est très très important. Et donc je dirais que de tous les points qu'on a énumérés, que ce soit moi ou les panélistes, on n'a pas parlé de diplôme. C'est incroyable. Donc ce qu'il faut faire, c'est de travailler sur soi, c'est de travailler sur ses qualités humaines, c'est travailler sur ses qualités soft. Et je pense que chacun de nous peut devenir entrepreneur ou réussir dans ce qu'il va entreprendre.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Obah, pour cette intervention qui résume parfaitement ce dont on parlait toute la journée. Nous allons donc maintenant passer la parole au public. Nous vous invitons à prendre la parole et à poser les questions que vous avez. Si je ne me trompe pas, il y a un micro qui va être passé. Je vous invite également, if you would like to ask your question in English, ou Soomaalida ku su'aalihiina ku sheegan karaysiin, we are more than welcome to have your questions.
مقلي سامان السلام عليكم مقعي waxaa la dhahaa deeq Africa I'm an entrepreneur based in Mogadishu what I wanted to ask is hi Abdeq was garanayna what's the usual profile of an entrepreneur in Djibouti, you know, is it the usual diaspora that's well connected, that has access to fund? There's difference between accessibility and availability of funds. Yes, there's a lot of funds available in the banks, but how easily is it accessible for entrepreneurs? That's one question. How easy is it to start a business in Djibouti? And I'm asking this as an entrepreneur in Mogadishu. I think we're entrepreneurs here. Also, what opportunities are available in Djibouti? I did not hear that from you guys. We just heard the usual entrepreneurial theories and all of that stuff, but what specific opportunities are available in Djibouti? That's what we're interested in. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Okay, I think we are going to answer these three questions first, and then it will be for you, sir.
Dera. So, en fait, Somali ba kugu jawaabi ahsan. Waxa weeye, the usual profile entrepreneur in Djibouti actually waxa weeyaan waa sawir aad u qurux badnayna pejorative baan oran karaa. Waxa weeyaan waa odaygay boorsada yar sitay ee qandaraas ka soo qaadanayay ama dawladda ama laakiin entrepreneurku maanta waa wax يعني waxa jira innovative bay iyaba noqotayba yani image-ka entrepreneurka profile-ka entrepreneurku waa profile aad uga gadisan tii hore waxay ahaanaysay trade yani qof ganacsi oo dukaan leh waxun iibsha ama wax keeno wax dib u iibsha laakiin entrepreneurka saan u arkayna u jeclaan lahayn inaan u aragno waa mid wax soo saara waa mid maaragtay wax ka bedela wixii jiray ama wax ku beeriya wixii jiray marka profile-ka Djibouti laga helo waa kuwii hore trade-ka ku jiray intooda badan Africa waa trade wax soo saarkeegu aad uma weyn badna waxaanan ku maaragtay ku dadaalayna dadaalkeegu waxa weeyaan inay dhalinyartu iyo kuwa maal qabeenka maanta jira Djibouti jooga inay ama taageeraan dhalinyarta haysa afkaarta jadiidka ama iyaguba ay maalgelin karaan projectyada maaragtay innovative-ka ama wax soo saar kale waxaa mar ka hadlayay taas laab saalax baan u maleeyaa ama ma xasuusto wuxuu lahaa dharkaad xidhan tahay halkee laga keenay basashaad cuntada ku karsato halkee laga keenay no waxa Soomaaliya qof Soomaaliya marka waa ina fikirno on maaragtay entrepreneur ku maaha ku aan kana nagu rajaynayno maaha kani shiinaha ka keenay dharka ama alaabta ka keenay dib u iibinay laakiin waxaan rajaynaynaa ama waxaan ku dadaalaynaa inuu noqdo ka wax soo saara ee maaragtay ka kaaftoomi kara dibadaha waxa laga keenayo Afrikada oo dhanba waa inay maaragtay taa ku fikirto dhalinyarta Afrikada ay noqoto Somali ama ha noqoto maxay ahaydeen ay wadanada kale Ethiopia oo kale waxa la oran karaa waxbay soo saaraan waa dad maaragtay beeraleeya waxba Djibouti ba waxay ku nooshahay khudrad iyo hadii la eego marka dhinaca Djibouti su'aashaad waxay ahayd what kind of profile what is the profile of an entrepreneur in Djibouti waa ganacsade and trade oo kaliyaata how is it easy to open a business or to start a business in Djibouti and waxaan ku jirnaa aan ku maaragtay bilowgii yani dadku say mindset-kooda u bedeli lahaayeen say entrepreneurship-ka u gali lahaayeen laana dadka intooda badani waxa ay u shaqeeyaan dawladda u shaqeeyaan ama waxa u shaqeeyaan hay'adaha dawladdu ay leedahay ay u shaqeeyaan marka waxa jira waxyaabo caqabado badan baa jirta oo iyadoo ah koraankayagu aad buu qaali u yahay maxay ahaydeen kirooyinku waa qaali qofku hadduu doonayo meel inuu furto caqabado badan buu soo food saarto oo on imika ku tali jirna inay caqabadaha laga hor qaadi karo siiba dhalinyarta aanan dee maal haysanin bilow markay wax bilaabayaan opportunity-ga Djibouti jirta aad bay u ballaaran tahay yani waxa aad moodaa meel aan wali waxba laga qaban oo kale yani markaan saa leeyahay wax laga qaban in terms of waxa weeyaan entrepreneurship dhalinyarta siiba opportunities ka jirta waxa weeyaan tourism ka jira waxa jira agriculture ka jira waxa jira maxay ahaydeen shaqooyinka la saameeya ama maaragtay ku lug leh waxa maxaa la yiraahdaa badda waxaan u jeedaa kalluumaysiga sorry fisheries-ka yani haddii inta uun maaragtay la eego opportunitiesku aad bay u badan tahay mooyaan anaga oo xeeb degan kalluun badan ma cunno hilib baan cunnaa I don't know why kalluunku waa mid badda inta la tago laga soo saari karo oo maaragtay bilaash ah ma kama ganacsano kama waxba lagama qabto lama tuunagaan ka soo qaadanaa wadanada kale yani waa kalluunkii halkan iska jira oo bilaash ku helisay isagii oo bacaysan oo isagii oo maxay ahaydeen moolgaraysan baad dibadaha ka keenaysaa oo lacag ka qaalisan ku iibsanaysaa su'aalahaas inaan isweydiinaa ay tahay waa taa opportunitiesku aad bay u ballaaran tahay waxaan u daynayay abdeeq isaga
Okay. So there, it's been a while, huh? So yeah, I will basically answer in English. The thing is that the opportunities here are exactly the same as where we first met a few years ago. Basically, manufacturing, energy, renewable energy. You know, it's an issue in our continent. Of course, fishery and agriculture. You know, the thing is that we have a French mentality here. Business is not our, you know, we don't have an entrepreneur mindset. So basically, the thing is that it's something new. It's a new wave in Djibouti for the past 3 to 4 years. So, and people are most of the time here focused on technological innovation. But what we need to think about waxa weeye wax soo saarka dalka oo ku jiro tamarta kalluumaysiga beeraha even beerihii wixii ka soo baxay iyo kalluumaysiga wixii ka soo baxay transformationkiisa sidii loo bedeli lahaa value lagu dari lahaa dib Ethiopia lagu dari lahaa inta Ethiopia ka soo qaadina anagu aan dirno ayaa loo baahan yahay ile market weyn baa ayaa jooga marka basically intaas bay ku noqotaa marka la eego regionka and marka la eego access to finance also. Access to finance, it's also the same situation as where we first met. It's difficult, but it's difficult on both sides. Because, yeah, banks, they don't know how to lend money to young people, to innovative ideas, to concept stage projects. And young people don't know how to sell themselves. You know, sometimes when I provide trainings to or mentorship to some entrepreneurs here, I shock them. I told them, guys, there is more money available than good ideas. Because you can have a good idea, but you have to sell yourself. You have to sell a single cell of your project. And yeah, it's a problem from both sides, but you know, institutions like CLE that are pretty new in Djibouti are doing a lot of efforts to actually help to decrease this gap between both parties. So that's basically the situation here.
Thank you so much. I think we had a question over there.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Magacaygu waa Yusuf, and I'll ask in Somali language as well for the benefit of everyone. Waxaan idin weydiinaa markaad ka hadlayseen definitionka aad sameynayseen entrepreneurship, waxaad adeegsateen terminologies, wisdom and explanation, external perspective matalaysa oo wadamada horumaray oo kaleeto. Marka any hal abuur ama creativity attached to the Somali or regional mataqaana wisdom or what they call the indigenous mataqaana knowledge to localize entrepreneurship itself. Hal abuur ama xigmad mataqaana Africa ka timid, experience, stories, sheekooyin. It's a nice mataqaana wadamada kale in laga soo qaato waxa laga soo barto, lakin it should be a homegrown mataqaana hal abuur. Marka I would like inaan maqalo something idinkoo reference u celinaysiin our own mataqaana knowledge iyo our ancestors mataqaana gabayada ama mama ama something really we feel some sort of ownership. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have another question over there. Yes. You have to press the button. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Gillian. I don't speak Somali or French, but I do have a question, so I'm not sure it's been answered yet. Do I need to repeat? Okay. So my name is Gillian. I don't speak Somali or French. I don't know if the question was answered in his initial question, but my question is, as entrepreneurs, as people in technology, what kind of security do you have to start a business in Djibouti and run the business, you know, in the event of failure? I think entrepreneurship can go either way, yeah? You either win or you lose. And so what kind of trade covers do you have in the country? And as for the, you know, like bank access to products and such, do you take them out, you know, and have covers for the unforeseen risks that obviously happen in business, so that, you know, you operate from a sense of security, so to speak?
Thank you very much. Just behind you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. magacayga waxa la yiraahdaa Aadam ama Khadar. Su'aashaydu waxay u socotaa walaalkayga koonaha fadhiya. Malaawi ma qiiman manaya.
Ilyas.
Ilyas waxaad sheegtay inaad samaysid warshad markaasi kabaha samaysa. Djibouti dee weyn wax ka baranaa ama diaspora aan noqono ama aan ka nimaadno wadankii. Bal horta noo yara sharax si aad wax u samaysay iyo kabaha noocaad ku samaysid. iyo haddii markaa marketka aad u baahan tahay oo aad keentay ama Somaliland ama Puntland ama Soomaaliya. talabaad startups ku deewa saad sheegteen waxay u baahan yihiin innovation bay u baahan yihiin, laakiin annagu imika innovation hubs baa jira, iRise, Shaqadoon, Digital Hargeysa way badan yihiin. Djibouti waxaanu jeclaan lahaa war waxaanu inka maqallo ma naqaano meelaha digitalka startups kiina the social media na isticmaalo bal aanu idin barano si aan markaa in la soo xiriirno. Business coach baan ahaa, ganacsadaan ahaa, kuwa halkan fadhiya qaar baa masaakiin iska yara ganacsata gaagaaban ah, jecel inaan Djibouti nimaadno wax ka samayno. marka dee barasho wanaagsan waxaan jeclahay inaan baranno dee visible noqda intaas maan ku gabagabayn lahaa marka walaalkay baa su-aashan ku socotaa.
Thank you very much. We're going to start with these 3 questions, and then we're going to come back to you for more questions. Okay. Sorry. Regarding the first question, en récapitulatif en français, c'était comment capitaliser sur les connaissances ancestrales et locales pour identifier un peu un espèce de mindset entrepreneurial somalien, djiboutien, qui correspond avec la communauté somalie du coup.
su-aasha voilà waxay ahayd saad u soo sheegtay may jirtaa xikmad laga baran karo oo ku saabsan entrepreneurshipka ay Soomaalidu leedahay homegrown oo kale ma si fiican baa u fahmay Soomaa waxa aad horta xaqiiqa inay dadka reer guuraagu ay entrepreneurs yihiinba sidooda ariga ay maaragtay baadiyaha ku carbinayaan bay ay keenaan maxaa ku dhahday magaaladii marka dadka magaalada degan waxayba dadka reer baadiyaha ama dadkan reer guuraagu waxayba u haystaan qof aanan noloshiisa keenin bay u haystaan qofku markuu ka baxo baadiyaha uu tago maxay ahayd inay magaalada waxay u haystaan qof dee adaygii kari waayo intooda badanna waxay u badan yihiin dad haddii loo fiirsado maanta dad inteena halkaa joogta oo qof laga dhex qaado la geeyo baadiye uu ku dhimanayaa waa qof maaragtay kaniif baan u baranay biyaan u baranay cunto diyaara waxankaasa dadkaasi waa dad maaragtay meelo kulul meelo maaragtay bilaa biya haddana noolaan karaya entrepreneurkuna waa caynka una mindsetka entrepreneurku waa waxaa lagu dhex geynayaa environment mashaqo badan leh ood adigu ka baxaysid ood ka noolaan kartid ood maaragtay u heli kartid xataa solutions u heli kartid marka waxaan odhan lahaa oo ina laga taamilo qaata ay tahay dadkan Soomaalida ama maaragtay dadka waxaana la yiraahdaa Soomaalidu intooda badan marka meesha doonaan ha joogaan way ka muuqdaan waxaan u maleynayaa wax ku yar dhex jiro oo meesha la geeyaba adaptability xoog la ayay leeyihiin resilience badan bay leeyihiin marka waxaan odhan karaa Soomaalida ama maaragtay dadkan reer guuraaga ah Soomaali uun ma ahine waa resilience-ka yani inuu qofku la qabsan karo meeshii la doono haddii la geeyo inuu la qabsan karo waxaan u malayntaa in laga qaataan yaan jecelahay je pense que dadku wax ku biirinaysa
wax yar baan ku biirin lahaa horta Soomaalidu warno xoolo dhaqatay ahayn waligeen ba xoolo dhaqataan ahayn laakiin imika the Somali touch sidee business ka loo raacin karaa it's simple first thing first so caanagii lama cabo caanahaasi de adduunyada way doonaysaa 50% of the camel in this world the region kan baa laga helaa laakiin 80% of the milk production in the world the Australia iyo India iyo Pakistan baa soo saarta so Somali touch horta sidee loo raacin karaa de waxeenii horta businessku waa phases for example caanihii maxaa la sameynayaa caanihii waa in la package gareeyo caanihii ma la package gareeyey sida dibaa loo diro maxaa la sameeyaa waa in qaboojiye la keeno qaboojiye ma keentay sidee waxa weeye marka next step certification aan u helaa certification kii maan helay de marka waa dhoofin kartaa ileen demand baa jirta marka waxa weeye wixii aan soo saaranay wixii Soomaalidu dhaqan ay u lahaayeen business ahaan marka trade-ka laga reebo waa in export gareeno Soomaalida dhibaatada ugu weyn jirta waxa weeye waxaad arkaysaa oday business buu galayaa for example beer buu dee greenhouse buu ka samaysanaya greenhouse kaasi muu ka samaystay tamaadho ka soo saaraya uu ku lacagaystay tamaadhadii buu iibinayaa muxuu sameynaa greenhouse-dii uu badinayaa 20kii uu haystay 200 buu ka dhigay odaygu ma joojinayo 200 buu 2,000 midho greenhouse ka dhiganaya laakiin at some point maxaa loo baahan Somali touch kaasa loo raaciyo ee loo export gareeyo what we are able to do waa maxay waa in tamaadhada la transform gareeyo tamaadha qasac qaybna laga sameeyo ketchup qaybna laga sameeyo kalluunkii aan soo saaranay adduunyada way doonaysaa coastal region kana eeg Somaliland Puntland iyo Soomaaliya waa 3,000 kilometer way 3,000 kilometer waa tuuna ka buuxda tuunada waa in la dhoofiyo adduunyadaas u baahan maxaa loo dhoofin waayo waan soo kalluumaysanaynaa suuqa la geynaa waan cunaynaa may we have to do more. We have to start with a new phase. وإنا wax soo saarkii marka la qiimeeyo trade kala joojiyo wixii aan ku jirnay weligeedba dee qiimo lagu beeriyo value lagu beeriyo adduunyada la geeyo. That's I think how in a business way Somali touch kala raacin karo what we are currently doing.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Abder. Nous allons passer à la question suivante qui était comment existe-t-il des facilitations et des sécurités par rapport à l'accès au financement à Djibouti? C'était oui, la dame en orange. La dame en orange. Et juste après, c'était oui, la troisième question.
Je vais plutôt répondre pour
D'accord, la troisième question. D'accord.
Asli pour l'autre question.
Ok.
Donc, حتى waxa weeyin walaalkay wixii ku dhalatay fikraddu wixii ku dhalatay run ahaan yaraantii waxa jiraysay kaba cajibiye baa jirto suuq aan ka iibsaday marka baayac mushtarka aan suuqeena jira sanad kastaba wixii sameeyaan kabaha ee qiimada ay ka helayaan benefiiska faa'iidada inta ka helayaan uma eegaan yaani ma eegaan anaka client-go aday ka iibsatooyinkiina oo iibsanaysa yaani ma eegaan wixiina cajibi kuma soo celinayaan waqti walba wixii eegaan sanad kastaba kabahee mise dharkee iyo faa'iido macaash ka helayaan inta badan marka kabay cajibi baa jiray oo iga kala go'ay marka waqtiga ciidii labaad waan iibsan yiri waan ka waayay magaaladii marka taaba igu dhashay markaan dibadda saa u tagay markaan arkay kaba la sameynayo sur mesure oo de nooca doonti loo sameynayo fikradii halka aan hayay maalintii cuqdadii aan u qaaday suuqa iga dhalatay markaan arkay kaba lagu sameynayo sa doonaysi colorka doonaysi cagta doonaysi tayga doonaysi waan waxa yiri fikradii kulay kaliya ma ahine in badan bay haystaa de magaalada oo kula mid ah oo wixii doonayeen uu baayac mushtarku commerciga uu keeneen donc waxa yiri fikradii qaad oo dadka waxaad u bandhigtaa wax de Shiinaha oo laga keenay ma ahin Turkiga oo laga keenay ma ahin oo wax noo ee keenay de wax noo eeg midabadeeni wadata kularkeeni wata mise marmar ma ahin kaba lagu talagalay dhulkeenan kulul iyo dhagaxdeena lagu talagalay waa dhul kaba iyo meel yar oo gudro ah lagu talagalay oo makadanba waa kuwa kala go'aya marka de kaba iska xajinaya hatta dhulkii oo tamar la oo faa'iido la oo naxajinaya kadibna noo eeg kabihii oo noo eeg marka waa saddexaan waxay wajaan maanta waxaan igu soo xidhay waa kabo raacsan dharkeenii dhaqankeenii raacsan saddexaan baan caadi ahaan ma xidho laguma arko waxyaabaha san oo kale ah ma xidho marka maanta waan isku soo qasbay donc waa taaba igu dhashay donc waxaan yidhi waa inaad dadkiisi reer Djibouti hablaheenii raggeenii caruurteenii macal cidoolaheeniiba aad kaba u eeg dhar u eeg aad u sameyn karti su'aasha labaadna ha insha Allah waan ku tala jirnaa inaan de yaani suuq regionka Soomaaliya Ethiopia de wadanada nijaarkeena iyo dibadba aan noqotay inaan gaarsiino ma xataa de objectivadeeni yaa xataa aan tonka de entrepreneur aan ka soo baxaya de inaan talaabsado in ma ahan ka badan kartideedii donc si dalaadala insha Allah waan u tiri doonaa inaan Soomaaliya agteena aan gaarsiino iyo dibadahaba insha Allah aan diri karno hadii noo suurto gelinaysa de insha Allah waa magaalo yar baan nahay dhaqdhaqaaqu commercial dibadda wax ma noo soo galay diritaanku sida kale wali manu gaarin meel ka manu gaarin oo way adag tahay wax dir insha Allah markii de maxaan yiraahdaa organisation mise de waxyaabay lagu talagalay doofitaanka fududeedin lahaa ii sameysmaan insha Allah waan gaarsiin doonaa haddii Allah ka dhigo.
Merci beaucoup. Madame Obach, si vous voulez ajouter un petit mot par rapport à la question.
inkastoon si fiican u fahmin oo u maqal su'aasha ku saabsanayd shaqadoon baad ka hadasheen waa xarunta lagu kobciyo afkaarta Soomaaliya ha waa sida xarunta kile waxa weyn Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship marka Djibouti way jirtaa saan sheegayay 2 sano 3 sanadood baaban operational ahay oo horta waxay ahayd step-ka ugu horeeya inay horta dhalinyarta reer Djibouti inay fahmaan muhiimiyadda ay leedahay hal abuurka ama maaragtay wax soo saarkii waxaankaasa inaan u talowno oon xidhiir la yeelanana waan jecelnahay walaalihiina maaragtay Soomaaliya because aad baa nooga firfircoon tihiin marka ay noqoto entrepreneurshipka wax soo saarka risk takers waaweyn baa tihiinoo waxa anaga naga maqan waa taasi and waxa fiicnaan lahayd inaan badda kala isweydaarsanno business cardiyada oon hadda toona ismacsuumno oo dhalinyarta reer Djibouti iyo kuwa Soomaaliyaba aan isweydaarsan karno wixii maaragtay aan kala beersan karno ama aan kala faa'iideysan karno inay maaragtay wax cilaaqaad caynkaas inaan dhisno aad baa u fiican tahay anu aad baan ugu furanahay proposition.
Très bien. Par rapport à la dernière question, juste concernant la facilité et la sécurité au niveau d'accès au financement à Djibouti, pour se lancer dans l'entrepreneuriat ou...
Je le ferai en français hein, cette fois-ci. L'accès au financement est assez, on dirait, disons complexe, parce que même si on a des banques, on a eu à peu près une dizaine de banques à Djibouti, ce sont des banques conventionnelles, ce sont des banques commerciales. Leur cible première, ce sont déjà les entrepreneurs ou les hommes enfin, les entreprises existantes et qui sont en opération déjà. Donc, qu'en est-il des jeunes hein, qui veulent, des personnes carrément qui veulent se lancer dans l'entrepreneuriat et maintenant, en fait, depuis justement la création du CLE, l'idée c'est de un peu développer, un peu stimuler l'écosystème entrepreneurial. Dans cet écosystème, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Il y a des institutions ou des organismes comme le CLE qui accompagnent le jeune qui est porteur de projet, qui a besoin de créer de la richesse. Donc ça, c'est toute la partie technicité, c'est-à-dire comment faire un business plan, comment faire un prototype, tous les étapes techniques. Mais également, à la fin, si la personne n'a pas de financement, c'est un problème. Donc le gouvernement djiboutien a pensé à résoudre cette question-là, ou d'apporter une réponse une solution à cette problématique en créant le fonds de garantie. Le fonds de garantie, c'est un organisme, une institution publique qui a pour mission de garantir les projets portés par des jeunes. Pas que, mais enfin, l'idée principale est de pouvoir stimuler, de faire partie de cet écosystème entrepreneurial pour pouvoir permettre à ces jeunes l'accès au financement. Maintenant, pour les petites entreprises, et je finirai très rapidement sur ça, le CLE, le Centre de leadership et de l'entrepreneuriat, tous les petits projets qu'ils accompagnent, ils leur octroient des petits financements, des petits fonds de lancement. seed funds waxa la yiraahdo seed funds ka wax weyn ahayn oo laakiin wax u qabanaysa dhalinyarta so waxa lagu guda jiraana in strategy-yada la wado waxa weeyaan ina financial inclusion ka ay hirgasho Djibouti liano waxa weeyaan dadku intooda badan account-yaba ma laba yani boqolkiiba 20 ama boqolkiiba hadan 30 haday ugu badan tahay ayaa account leh so qofku haduu account lahayn maaragtay access to finance ma yeelan karaba inta badanna waxay dadku ku shaqaystaan waa ayuutada waxa la yiraahdo ama hagbad ama family-ga ay wax ka qaataan markay mashruucu markuu weyn yahay wax ay ka qaban karaysa ma jirto waxa loo baahan yahay inay qofku first waa account yeesho marka strategy-yada step-ka ugu horeeya ee la qabanayo dawladda Djibouti ku jirto waxa weeyaan in qof walba oo maaragtay muwaadina inuu yeesho account bank account waa inuu yeesho ama ha shaqeeyo ama ha shaqeyn waayo ama lacag soo gashay waa yani waa right uu qofka bil aadanku leeyahay account-ka sidoo inuu yeelan karo then qofkaasi hadduu activity bilaabo ama uu bilaabo inuu wax soo saar yeesho qofkaasi si loogu fududeyn lahaa access to finance ka ama maaragtay amaahda loogu fududeyn lahaa waxa jira bankiyada islaamiga la yiraahdo qofkii doonaya ka nacaya credit maaragtay conventional credit-yada nacaya way jira waxa jira Salam Bank maxay ahaydeen East Africa Bank way badan yihiin guarantee baa loo baahan marka aad doonaysid inaad qaadatid ama maaragtay aad mashruuc wadato guarantee-gana xaruntan baa la sameeyay waxaan u jeedaa fund guarantee waa guaranteed fund waxa la yiraahdo marka projectku hadduu fiican yahay waxa guarantee u noqonaya institutionkaba guarantee u noqonaya d'ailleurs Ilyas maxay ahaydeen ay warshadiisa marka imika waad mooyaan xil intaad ku jirtid ma dhistay ma dhamaystay ma ogi laakiin warshadaada waxa ku taageertay fond garantiga si uu u heli karo ama uu u dhisan karo warshada uga dhisi karo Djibouti dhexdeeda marka waa run aad bay maxaa la dhahdaa difficult u tahay access to finance waa Djibouti dhexdeeda laakiin waa lagu jiraa hawsha lagu jiraa iyo effortskeeda waa lagu jiraa in la dhib yareeyo.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Obah. I am so sorry. I think we have reached our time for this panel. So we do not want to step on the time of the next panel. I just want to...
Well, sorry.
No problem.
Product kaaga waa amazing. Caawana the best event aa dhacaysa. So sidee u heli karnaa kabahan and these amazing bow ties? This is your lifetime opportunity. Event win baa dhacaya.
We will make sure to get you in contact with all the panelists so you can... on va vous mettre en contact. We will make sure to put you guys in contact so you can have all the information regarding these amazing products. So, thank you very much again. Je vous remercie encore une fois d'avoir participé avec nous à ce panel. Thank you so much and...
Comment ça va?
Merci beaucoup.
Je rends la parole du coup à Mahmoud pour la suite du programme.
Merci beaucoup. Assalamu alaikum. way ku mahadsan yihiin panelkeenu xamdi waa mahadsan tahay sida wacanad noogu dadahaysay programkan hadda waxaa yar sugaynaa intaan iska yaraa tirtirayno covidka waxaa noo samaynaya video موضوع على بعض بقولي دونا هدول لا إنكستون أغنى هاي إن عاو حفلة لنا وحن جعلان لهيننا وانسوق قابين دونا ونقرأ اللي هان السين وقتي بدلنا نقا قاعدنا مرة بنو
المرسل
ويرد دجنا هدو إلهي رادو
المرسل
noo bilaami doono dhawaan hadduu ilaa idhaahdo waxaan idnigu bogaadinaya inaad dhegaysi wacan aad qaadatiin aanan waqtiga aanan iska cunin oon waqtiga aan soo yar degdegno si aan testigii covidka u galno ilan waa na hor joogaa kaasina marka waxaan jecelahay madasha wada aragti wadaagga ee Djibouti waxay ku faraxsan tahay maanta inay soo dhaweyso panelkan sharafta leh ee halkan jooga ay haboono introductionka noo samayn doonto waa aad iyo aad baan ugu soo dhaweynayaa Muna Kawsar waxaan kugu soo dhaweynayaa reer Djibouti ku barayaan jecelahay so je voudrais juste vous dire un mot à propos de Muna Kawsar. Beaucoup de mes concitoyens ne la connaissent pas, mais aujourd'hui, elle est chez elle, dans son pays. Donc, Muna, bienvenue dans ton pays. Muna, welcome to your country. And welcome, Muna. So, all of you, welcome to your country. Janks, Halima, Lula. Lula, notre cinéaste, elle est là aussi. waxaan u dayn hadalka habboon si ay noogu introduction-ka noogu samayso waa mahadsantihiin walaalayaal
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'll be loud. Morning, everyone. We're now starting the Accessing Creative Industries side event. Before we start, I want to introduce Ifrah Hussain, Somali Canadian award-winning poet and author. Our panel members are Muna Kawsar, TV anchor and correspondent for ABC World News and America This Morning, Lula Ali Ismail, Djiboutian Canadian film director, screenwriter and actress, Chunks, British Somali YouTuber, host and entertainer, and Halima Aden, humanitarian, first hijabi supermodel, and just before we start, I wanted to let you guys know that there will be a Q&A section at the end.
I hope you guys are all doing wonderful. I know it's very hot and it's getting cold, but we'll try to keep this brief. The Q&A will be at the end. We'll probably take maybe less than 10 questions. Hello. Oh. So we're just going to make it easy, start it off right. Maybe we'll go from Halima down, if that's okay. Maybe tell us a bit about yourself. Keep it brief. Not so brief because you have a long bio, but keep it brief. Tell us a bit about yourself and your journey.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's an honor to be in Djibouti, probably some of the best culture I've ever gotten to experience. My name is Halima Aden, and I'm known for being the first in some places, like the Miss Minnesota USA pageant, wearing a hijab and burkini, the first Somali model, not the first Somali model, let me not take credit for that, but the first hijab wearing model, and yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Beautiful.
Hello, hello, I'm Mona Kosar Abdi. First, I'd like to thank you guys for having us, especially being able to experience, like Halima said, the Djiboutian culture and this amazing country that I know I'll be back, so I'm really excited to be here and to be a part of this panel with these wonderful people. I am originally from San Diego, California, but I am in New York right now. I am a network news anchor for ABC News in the mornings, and I'm a journalist through and through, a storyteller, and it's something that the Somali culture has instilled in me to be a storyteller, and so I'm really excited to share my experiences with all of you and look forward to your questions as well.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm joking. Welcome, my people. It's Chunks. So thank you so much for welcoming us. Like they both said, I know it doesn't sound as sincere because I'm third, but yeah, like I said, I'm a YouTuber. I'm not as inspirational as the other two and other people on the panel, but I just make people laugh, entertainer, and yeah, I've been doing this for quite a long time now. But yeah, like I said, very proud to be here amongst this panel, and yeah, that's the story. Next up.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Lula from here, so I'm happy that this event is taking place here. So welcome, everyone. I'm a filmmaker, but I made a short film and a feature film. Both films are international renowned. and I'm happy to take part of this event.
Thank you, Lula. Before I get into my next question, I just want to note that we understand the importance of creativity in the culture and in all cultures. And I do believe that art, creativity, any creation really, is the wheel, is the driving force of social change. So again, thank you guys for being part of this panel, and I'm going to start with Mona. My next question is, what have been some challenges to get to where you are now, and how did you overcome those challenges?
It's a really good question. I think there's challenges through and through, just having the drive and determination and consistency, so just the work ethic part of it, I would say is difficult. Also, just to get to the network level and be able to tell stories on that caliber, I think a lot of it had to do with just perfecting your skills, because again, it's not just about telling a good story, but it's about conveying it, so the writing has to be great. I think becoming a stronger writer, that was a challenge in itself, and also keeping a curious mind. It seems something that would be easy, but it's like after a while you start to think like, oh, I know this all, or you just start getting less and less curious. So just keeping that curiosity, and also just working on little things like my voice and being able to tell a good story, and on-camera presence as well. So there's a few challenges in that aspect. But I'll say also just being a young black woman in the United States, there's a lot of challenges in that, and just trying to not just show that you're a good journalist and that you're capable of doing this, but also just navigating navigating an industry that is predominantly white, an industry that is predominantly male and has been for so long, and just trying to get the communities that you come from, their stories told, and to put our issues in the forefront and try to convey that this is important, that people do care about this, and it's a universal story, not just something that one community cares about.
Thank you, beautiful. I'm going to pass it over to Chunks. The question again is, what have been some challenges to get to where you are now, and how did you overcome those challenges?
So with YouTube and being in London, I didn't have anyone to look up to, like based on a Somali stand front. Like there wasn't any Somali entertainers or creators that actually made it into the mainstream. So I think I was kind of making up my own blueprint as I was going along. And obviously being Somali in this industry that's fully, like you said, male dominated, of course, and like a lot of white people. So it was kind of like navigating through it was a bit difficult at the beginning, and having their banter and having their humor was kind of like, oh, this is different. You know what I mean? I'm born and raised from the council estates, and everyone's kind of like from like, I mean, richer backgrounds. So it was kind of difficult to settle in at the beginning. But then coming in with my friends and all of us from similar backgrounds, like it was much easier for us to kind of come up in the ranks. So I'd say definitely just feeling uncomfortable, and it wasn't necessarily the people's fault. It was more I felt like I didn't deserve to be there. And like I said, because there was no one to look up to, it was like, what do I do next? So it was all a bit freestyle, all a bit spontaneous. Till today, I feel like I'm still winging it. But alhamdulillah, it's working out. But yeah, so definitely challenges just being, I didn't know what I was doing at certain points. And then finding out that it was okay to be confused, you know?
Yes.
And just to take one step at a time and see what happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. Thank you, Chunks. Sister Lula, I will pass it over to you. The question again is, what have been some challenges to get to where you are now, and how did you overcome those challenges?
There were a lot of challenges, but I think in my mind, the best way to overcome those challenges is to really love what you're doing. Believe in yourself, really. Yes. Because if you don't love what you're doing, halfway through, you won't be able to continue. So first of all, really love what you're doing, and work all time. Have this, what you want to, for example, when I was writing my feature film, it took me 5 years. During those 5 years, there was no one moment that I was not thinking about my film. And I think that's the way. Talent is one thing, but really dedication and a lot of work is how you overcome the obstacles.
I love that. I love that. And just going off of what you said in terms of loving what you do, one of my favorite quotes is, find what you love and let it kill you. So thank you for that. I'm going to pass it over to Halima. What have been some of the challenges to get to where you are now, and how did you overcome those challenges?
I think for me, being the first hijab-wearing model, it was hard. It was hard to be creative. Fashion is one of the most creative industries in the world, and they love pushing the envelope. And so for me, it was a matter of, you know, still showcasing different styles and being a part of that world, but also holding on to my Somali heritage, holding on to our Dakan, you know, still being modest while being fashionable. And I think another challenge would be not being comfortable and not just settling for modeling. And so I'm so grateful that my mom always reminded me, you know, branch out, do different things, challenge yourself. And so back in 2019, I executive produced a film called I Am You. And I go attend universities, I give speeches, I'm working on writing my first children's book. And so I think not settling for just one thing, but widening your horizons. And I love that I get to travel, even though sometimes it's difficult. You get to meet different people, learn so much, and I'm still a student. I'm a student of life, and I don't know everything, but I'm so excited to be able to learn and try new things, and just not settling at where I'm at, but trying to like constantly grow and challenge myself.
Thank you, Halima. That's beautiful. I know how important in creative spaces our Somali identity is to what we do and how we do what we do, especially since as Black, Muslim, Somali women, we sit on a lot of different intersections. So moving from that, I want to ask, and I'll start with Chunks, what can we as the Somali community do to facilitate better spaces for creatives?
To be fair, I feel like it's with like our parents and stuff. It's that old-fashioned mindset which is understandable, and I completely understand. And I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but like maybe just to show that there is an avenue for it and it is possible. Because I feel like our parents coming from Western countries, I'm first generation, obviously, so they're coming and trying to provide for the family and tell them that it's education, this is the route you're going to take, and X, Y, Z. There's nothing else to it. So when I even mentioned the idea of YouTube to my mum and dad, they were bamboozled. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So all my age mates were in their second year of uni. I did my first year. I dropped out just based off a dream. And it was just wild to them. You know what I mean? Like, I still remember shaking, telling them I'm dropping out of uni. And I was like, oh my God. Because I've got 3 sisters that are older than me. They all went through the normal process. So it was kind of like, you're next. Like, well, you're going to become a mathematician. So I was like, it's possible to do other things and things that you do enjoy, and there is an avenue for it, and you can make a steady income from it too, and it's something that you do enjoy, and it's all fun and games. It's all amazing becoming a doctor or a judge or X, Y, Z, because that's incredible career paths, but I really push that you can also have fun whilst having a job, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like just basically telling the parents that it is. I think it all starts with the parents at the end of the day, because as Somalis, you regard like your parents very highly, so you want to respect them, you want to listen to them, but I feel like it's maybe educating the parents first, and then that's when, but then it's going to be very difficult. It's not an overnight process, definitely not. My mum and dad is still understanding what I'm doing till now, like, so I understand this will take time, but inshallah khair, you know what I mean?
MashaAllah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll pass it over to Lula. What can we as a Somali community do to facilitate better spaces for creatives?
I think, like Jung said, first of all is the parents.
Yes.
For example, in my case, I was a bit older, so it was easier.
Right.
But when you're 18, 17, 19 years old and you want to go into art, in different kind of art, it's really difficult for the parents to accept, because in their mind, that child won't be able to make a good living if he's not an accountant or a doctor or an engineer and so on. So the first step will be for the parents, for example, to perhaps take a step back and, you know, show that there is other profession then you give spaces to children, to high schools, to university, places that think arts can go on. For example, showing movies, going to play from the get-go. I think that's the two things I can think of.
Yes. I just, so I'm just gonna, before I get to Mona, for our parents in here, I wanted to let it sit as a reminder how important art is, and looking at the Dakhan, art was such a moving
You can write the right way, the way you think and you imagine your history. If someone else writes for you, it's not your history anymore because that person will put their intention.
Right.
So art is that as well.
Yes. Art one, Oloshana.
Very much so. I mean, this is something that I was picking up on as all the panelists were talking, which is you can't be everything to everyone. Sometimes you can only share your experience. You can only do what is authentic to you. And I say that because I think it's threefold. So with the parents, I have empathy towards them because it's like you have to understand that we're first generation. Culture, and I mentioned it before how storytelling is a huge part, oral history, and that is where my love for storytelling came from, is just listening to my grandma tell me stories, and that's the way. We didn't have picture books, we didn't have children's books, and so it is a staple of the Somali culture, poetry, art, involved. So I think that's also a point. But yeah, I think part of it has to come from you and realizing that, or I will say, I don't want to just say the negatives and what we don't do. I want to talk about the positives of the fact that a lot of support comes from the Somali community, and a lot of people reach out and they're like, I see so I think that's also a point. But yeah, I think part of it has to come from you and realizing that this is something that's true to you. And I spoke with some of the panelists earlier, and there's going to be naysayers. You can't be, even when you're trying to put the culture on the map and you're trying to 100% represent, there's always going to be someone saying you're not doing it right. So it has to be just as authentic as it is coming from you, in the same sense of, as a community, we do support. I will say, I don't want to just say the negatives and what we don't do. I want to talk about the positives of the fact that a lot of support comes from the Somali community, and a lot of people reach out and they're like, I see what you're doing, and this is something that you've made it possible, that I want to do this. And so just keep facilitating that support and keep creating an environment where the arts are appreciated.
Thank you, Mona. Halima.
I mean, the panel, because I felt like they won't understand, right? But my mom, when little girls in our community would like drive all the way from Minneapolis, all the way from Rochester to come to the house to just be like, can I meet your daughter? Then she started understanding the value and like the little girls and what it meant to them to see somebody who looks like them, who came from their same background, making it so big in the fashion industry. I think that's when my mom started realizing like, okay, my daughter, you know, she's doing right by the Somali community and there's like support. And so then she came around. And so I'm so grateful. But you have to educate your parents and like Muna said, have empathy because it is two different generations. And sometimes it's hard to understand where they're coming from, you know? So I think finding the middle ground, sometimes I had to compromise to please her and she's also had to compromise a lot to see my point of view.
Thank you. It's beautiful. I'm actually going to throw a question in there that I didn't initially have in my little MacBook here. And that is, how important is Somali Nima to your art or your creative process or your creativity? And I'm going to start with Lula. That's how important is Somali Nima to your...
It is important. It's because who I am. So when I'm writing, I cannot write as a British or as a French. I can only write from a girl who was born in Djibouti, who was born in Quartier Saint, and that's my baggage. So when I was writing for the future film for the three girls, that baggage I carry on all along. That's influenced how I film, how I write the dialogue, how I do the mise en scène. It influences everything I am because it's the core of who I am.
Thank you. Chunks, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, like I said, for me, obviously being like a role model to loads of the Somali kids, definitely in the UK as well, it's like pressure because I feel like I have to kind of always be in their good books and always be in their parents' good books. I get a lot of parents that come up to me and say, oh, my kids are such big fans of you guys, and like they're happy that they're looking up to us as role models. So it's almost that added pressure that it's kind of like, oh, I kind of have to make sure I'm always on good form, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, growing up, I didn't really have any Somali people or entertainers to look up to, or just in general. Like, it was Mo Farah for me. So, you know what I mean? I was in, wow, he's made it mainstream. There's a Somali guy on my TV. That was crazy to me. So, yeah, for there to be way more Somali creators that people could look up to is just an incredible feeling. So, yeah, like, that's definitely very important to me, being a Somali kid from Northwest London.
Beautiful, beautiful. Shout out Diaspora.
Definitely. It's hard to separate it. I feel like it wasn't even like a conscious choice. It's part of such a significant part of your identity, even as someone who was born and raised in the States, right? And I don't have that maybe direct connection, but it's the way you were raised and the fact that when I see even our panelists on the screen, I can relate to them immediately, and I'm rooting for them immediately because it's in who you are, it's in my name. There's been so many times where I've been asked to change my name, for example, make it something that's a little bit more easy, and I'm like, no, because it's a part of my identity. That's my dad's name.
Yes.
That's his dad's name, and his dad's name, you know what I mean? And so I think just staying true to who you are, and what's great is that Somali people, we don't hesitate. Like, it is Arab kids reaching out, you have Pakistani kids reaching out, and a lot of just like the Muslim community, that's the greater Muslim community. And so it's like just knowing that like it's also a great responsibility because you're carrying so much on your shoulders and you want to be able to like represent so many aspects of your identity. But I think it goes back to just that authenticity. You have to just stay true to who you are and it'll naturally just exude.
Beautiful. Before I get to you, Halima, I love the name thing, especially, you know, if I'm doing anything in my art, they ask if they can shorten my name to Ifra or just keep it at Ifra. I said, no, you're going to call me Ifra Hussein. That is me. Somali Nima is I. And I know that many of us are third culture kids, meaning we're trying to hold on to our Canadian or American or British identity, as well as our Somali. And it's that much harder for us, but it's that much more beautiful because we invest so much of ourselves into these identities and into our Somali Nima and into grounding ourselves. And shout out to artists in the Somali culture and everything that you do. I am here, I stand, and especially the diaspora. Halima, how important is Somali Nima to you in your creative?
I mean, my name is Halimo. It doesn't get more Somali than that. And for the last 5 years, I've been screaming, Arf Armaja Ige! But now I'm in Djibouti, so it's Arf Ar Ismail Ige! But all jokes aside, you know, my mom always told me, Dakanka the Kufan, Datka the Kufan. And Somalis, we will die from hunger before we lose our pride. And so I'm just so grateful that, you know, I meet incredible Somalis that are changing the game on a global scale, and that just inspires me so, so much. And alhamdulillah, even you, Ifrah, you know, you are a poet. It doesn't get more Somali than that. And so wherever we go, yeah, truly.
Thank you.
So wherever we go, you have to be part of your people.
Yes.
You know, because before there was a famine, you know, you have to understand you are the descendants of kings and queens and royalty.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Oh, just finish it off. Why don't you? She's doing the poetry. Okay. This is going to be the last question I have for the panel before we open it up for Q&A. And that is, what advice, and make it beautiful, y'all, what advice would you give to young Somalis who are trying to break into the creative industry? And we'll start with you, Chunks.
So the only advice I could give is obviously based off like what I've done. So it's just like jumping in the entertainment industry, which is scarce of Somali people. It's just to be patient. That's the most important thing, honestly. I feel like people want overnight success. And like even when I'm doing my thing now, people are like, oh, like you blew up in such a small amount of time. But it really wasn't. It didn't feel like that to me. Like before I was even getting paid anything, it took me like 2-3 years. And I invested my own money into this situation, you know what I mean? So I feel like I can only speak for me and my friends, like we were very like impatient. It was always like, when is this gonna, you know what I mean? Like work kind of vibe. So number one advice, definitely be patient. And like just to try and be kind to people as well. That's a very big thing because like being from where I'm from, like a lot of people had that wrong, like almost that perception that I was like a thug because I was from where I was from. But I'd come and I'd be smiling and talking kindly, more kind than the person next to me. So it's kind of like, oh, this guy has something about him. And just being kind to a person, you never know who you're speaking to. So like I'll be at an event and I'll be speaking to someone and I'll find them funny or something. And at the end of the day, it's like one of the managing directors at Apple from the UK. I'm just like, oh, like all of a sudden I've got a deal from this. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But not to be nice with ulterior motives, but just to be nice in general. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big one. And another one I'd say, which people don't really push upon, like our community, is just like Deen in itself. Like to try and keep up with your prayers. That's something that I was always struggling with, definitely. So like my mentor, like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, was I was doing what I wanted to do. I was at the place I wanted to be at, but I'd never had that sense of like happiness, genuine happiness. And then I had like my friends around me back home saying like, how's your prayers, bro? And I was like, I can't lie, it's on and off, you know what I mean? So just like a small fix in that, and all of a sudden, like, alhamdulillah, my mental was at a much better place. And that's something that's like taboo in our culture as well, because everything mental related is either gin related or something else, and it's just kind of like, oh, we can't really speak about this, you know? Right. So yeah, like there's loads of different advice, but those are like the main three I'd hone in on, definitely.
Thank you. Before I get to you, Lula, you mentioned patience, kindness, and the deen being important, and that drove me to one of my favorite ayahs in the Quran, which is, so patiently persevere, for verily the promise of Allah is true, nor let those shake thy firmness who have themselves no certainty of faith. So thank you, Chunks. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Lula, I'm going to pass it over to you, which is, what advice would you give to young Somalis who are trying to break into the industry? Advice.
I think the best thing is, again, do you really want to go this way? Do you really know yourself enough to go this way? You have to really love what you want to do. That's the best advice. Second is patience, of course. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight. Don't be afraid of work. You really have to work, do your research, try to be as close as you can of the people who are doing the same thing and who are already out there. Those are, for me, those were the three things. Love what you like, what you're doing, and patience and really work your ass off. Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Ass off.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse my language.
I want to piggyback off of something that Lulu said earlier, where she said that she was working on her film for 5 years and she talked about it every day. And I think it takes a certain belief in yourself, because there's going to be people that don't believe in you. Even it could be that those closest to you, and it's often those closest to you because they want to protect you, right?
Hone in on, definitely.
Thank you. Before I get to you, Lula, you mentioned patience, kindness, and the deen being important, and that drove me to one of my favorite ayahs in the Quran, which is, so patiently persevere for...
Just keep going one foot in front of the other, and that's the thing. It's not just bursts of energy where you work really hard and then you're like, nothing is coming, throw it away, move on to something else. There's going to be days where you question, like, what am I doing? Why am I even doing this? Like, I'm miserable right now because it's not working out how I want it to be. And that's when you're actually closest to the light at the end of the tunnel and seeing that success on the other side. But I think just, if one thing I can drill, it is that nobody is better than you. They probably are just working a little bit harder. And yes, maybe they might have a head start, but I promise you that you are capable of everything you put your mind to.
You are capable, you are worthy, you can. And if you really want something in this world, you will move mountains to get it. Remember that. And if a man really wants you, he's gonna move mountains. All right, go ahead. I'll pass it over to Halima.
I mean, I absolutely agree with everything that you guys said, and I echo those same things. And I think I would just add, get in touch with your higher self, because you will hear lots of no's, but it just takes one yes. And you fall 9 times, get up 10. That's my favorite motto. And I think just also protecting your energy. You know, you are the books that you read, you are the music that you listen to, you are the movies that you watch. And so make sure that you surround yourself with good people, people who are entrepreneurial, people who will challenge your perspectives. And then you grow, and you have to do the same for the younger generation looking up to you. So we have so much to learn from one another, and everybody has their own unique story. So just be a good listener and show up for your community, and inshallah, you will find success.
Being present, yes. So we're going to open it up to Q&A from the audience. I guess the desks have mics, right? We ready for Q&A, guys? We ready? Okay, cool. Is there somebody with the mic that's going to be, is that me? Okay. Is that me getting up? Oh, you guys have mics. Oh, yeah. Wow. 2022, okay. Yes, sister.
Okay.
Please.
Hi, guys. My name is Hamdi. And my question is, if you had to tell one thing to your past self and one thing to your future self, what would it be?
Is there a specific person you'd like, or do you want all of them to answer? Okay, cool. What advice for your past self, present, and future self? Okay. Can I go first? Yes, absolutely.
The one thing I would say to my past self is be kind to yourself. So important. I think just having empathy towards yourself, compassion of you're not where you want to be, but you are where you're supposed to be. And it's so hard. And I say that sometimes too because it's like, again, I don't want to paint this picture like Chunk said where it's like you're a success overnight. It never works that way. It's always hardship. It's always self-doubt. And so just be kind to yourself in those moments. And to my future self, I would just say, hey girl, we made it. Because I know there's great things in the future.
Beautiful. Whoever wants to jump next.
I would say trust the process because, whew, you know, I was born and raised in one of the largest refugee camps. Shout out to anybody from Kakuma.
Kakuma, shout out.
Yes. And us Kakuma babies, we're very resilient, you know, alhamdulillah. And I would just say, remind yourself that everything was written for you before you were even born, you know. So trust in Allah, trust that He got your back, and that things will be okay. It might be bleak now, it might be very challenging to see tomorrow, but all good things come and go, and same thing with bad things, you know, nothing lasts forever, and that goes for pain, that goes for, you know, anything. So I would just say trust the process.
Thank you.
Advice to my past self, I think, is just not be as naive as I once was. That's definitely a big thing, because one piece of advice I'd say is, like, not everyone's like how you are. You know what I mean? Everyone expects people to be like as they are. For example, if they're a nice person, they just think, oh, that person's gonna be a nice person. They don't have different motives to me. You know what I mean? But I feel like you can never expect anything from anyone without trying to be morbid. But it's like, generally, like, there's been times where I feel like I could trust a particular person, then that's the person that was gonna, my manager or something, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it's like, oh, nothing was in contract, and it's kind of like just making sure your stuff's like fixed up from the beginning, you know what I mean? And just to always be ahead of the game kind of vibe. And for my future self, generally, I don't know, man. I'm just living every moment, like I said, just step by step. I'm not really trying to look too far ahead. Like, when someone says to me, what do you expect in 5 years' time? I couldn't tell you what I'm doing tomorrow, honestly. So it's like, yeah, just live every step at a time, and inshallah khair, we'll see what happens, you know what I mean?
What I would say to myself, past me, I think I will say the same thing that Muna. Be nice to myself, first of all. If I'm not nice to me, then I think people won't be nice to you. And for the future, keep going. More work.
Thank you. Thank you. We have another question over there, sister in the pink. Yes, yes, brother.
Bonjour, je vais vous poser ma question en français. Ça vous dérange?
Maya.
Yeah,
Do any of us speak French here? No. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yes.
It's okay? D'accord. Ma question est simple. Avez-vous des modèles, des personnes présentes avant vous, auxquelles vous êtes identifiés avant de commencer votre parcours personnel? Et avez-vous des idées, des causes à défendre sous vos plateformes? Merci.
Pour moi, c'était vraiment...
Can you say that in English? Oh, was the question just for you?
No, I think it's for
everyone.
No.
Okay.
Do you have a mentor or some sort of a model that you look up to?
Oh, a role model.
A role model.
Okay.
Et la deuxième question, c'était quoi? And do you have ideas of, future ideas of what we can do and so on? C'est ça, hein? C'était quoi la deuxième question?
La deuxième question était, avez-vous des idées, des causes à défendre sur vos plateformes?
And what ideas do you are really there to fight for?
Oh,
okay. And so on, and our causes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So causes you're very passionate about, and also who's your role model, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool, great. I'm sorry, is that, sir, you can answer that?
Yeah, I can answer in French
great.
first.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
it's fine.
Go for it.
Pour moi, je suis dans le cinéma, donc vraiment, c'est une vraie coïncidence. La raison pour laquelle je suis dans ce milieu-là, c'est parce que j'étais quelqu'un de très timide. Donc je me suis dit à un moment donné, la timidité c'est bien lorsqu'on est petite, mais lorsqu'on est adulte, c'est un handicap. Donc je me suis dit, qu'est-ce que je peux faire? Et je me suis inscrite dans un cours de théâtre. Et à partir de là est née cette envie, cette passion, je devrais dire, d'être dans ce milieu-là. Au début comme comédienne, ça n'a pas trop marché, je ne trouvais pas le rôle qu'il me fallait, donc je me suis créé du travail en écrivant moi-même les histoires. Et dans ces histoires-là, je pouvais jouer un rôle qui me plaisait. Donc c'est cette processus-là que le fait que je sois dans l'industrie du cinéma est né. Pour les personnes qui faisaient ce que je faisais avant moi, c'est un peu difficile parce qu'on n'en a pas vraiment, bien qu'il y ait dans le monde du théâtre, il n'y a pas vraiment dans le monde du cinéma à Djibouti, donc c'était vraiment les acteurs ou les réalisateurs internationaux. Mais je n'avais pas vraiment quelqu'un de Djibouti, par exemple. En coup, je pouvais dire, je vais aller cette personne, et cette personne-là, elle a déjà réalisé des films internationaux, et voilà. Et les causes qui me tiennent à cœur, moi, que je traite dans mes films, c'est vraiment ce qui fait titiller, ce qui fait parler, ce qui fait penser la population djiboutienne, en gros. Donc, dans mon premier film, c'était le 4, et l'impact que ça a dans la société djiboutienne. Dans le deuxième film, c'était la jeunesse. Je voulais parler de la jeunesse parce qu'on parle de la jeunesse des autres jeunesses et on ne parle pas vraiment de la jeunesse djiboutienne, je veux dire dans le cinéma. Donc je voulais parler de la jeunesse djiboutienne et la transition qu'elle fait lorsqu'elle passe avant d'aller à l'université. Donc qu'est-ce qui est dans la tête d'une jeune personne de 17 ans, 18 ans lorsqu'elle est en train de passer le bac avant d'aller à l'université? C'est quoi ses inspirations, ses rêves? Qu'est-ce qu'elle a envie de faire? Donc je voulais vraiment donner une voix à la jeunesse djiboutienne et c'est pour ça, et c'est cette cause-là qui me tient au cœur. Et il y a plusieurs causes qui me tiennent à cœur et puis ça sera dans chaque film, vous allez voir les causes qui me tiennent à cœur, Inch'Allah.
C'est ça. Beautiful, thank you. Wonderful. What's that? Oh, we've got a question over here. Yes, oh, Mahad, yes. Please.
Hello. My question to the panel is, as you guys said it, there's going to be sometimes in the process that you will be down on your luck and that you will be asking yourself is, if I'm doing the right choice or if I'm doing the right thing. Is that, what helps you guys in those moments? What is the kind of thing that you do on your personal level that helps you get your grind up and go at it again? So that maybe us spectators can find in our own selves, our own mechanisms. Well, what could it be?
I'd say like, what I tend to do, what I'd like done a lot at the beginning of my career was like feel sorry for myself and just be like, oh, you tried your best, you know what I mean? And just kind of like move on. But for me, it was just kind of like believing you are the best, like you guys have said. And, you know what I mean? Just not to have self-doubt. I know it's easier said than done, but when you genuinely believe that you're the best at something and you're going to make it, like, anything can happen, but it's cool that you can drop off a little once a while and then all of a sudden have that grind and have that motivation once again. Because I feel like it's very difficult to have motivation 24/7, but you can be disciplined, you know what I mean? And once you have the goal, obviously it's fine to steer off sometimes, but just to make sure you're always on that straight path towards your goal at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Halima brought up a great point where she said, know your why. And I think if that is your foundation, then you can always come back to your foundation. So, for example, and even just like, that's where the kindness aspect comes in, right? Because you're like, I've been doing all of this and nothing is working. And I think that's the moment you also focus on what is in your control and what is not in your control, right? So then you look and you're like, okay, I did all this, but what haven't I done? Where can I pivot? Like, look back at it and think of it as like, that is actually the most rewarding time. You can make it and you'll be like, I remember the days I was in my bedroom grinding. Like, I remember the days where like I had not a penny to my name. And you have pride in that because you remember what you had to overcome in those obstacles. So that's where I say, don't just look like to 10 years from now, whatever like the success marker may be for you. Look in that moment as a game, like you're putting a puzzle together. And if this didn't work or you feel like it's not working, what can you pivot? And is it just a matter of you just need to keep doing it consistently and see, you look back and how far you've come?
I would say, for me, the advice I would give is don't be afraid to start over, you know, because even for myself, I was at the height of my modeling career. I've graced over 22 publications, been on the runway for countless designers, did everything that I wanted to accomplish in the fashion industry. And then I found myself being conflicted. It started, you know, clashing with my core values, and I walked away. I quit. And alhamdulillah, almost a year and a half later, or if not 2 years, things have worked out beautifully. So when one door closes, best believe 10 more will open.
Yep. Yeah, no one, sorry, real quick, just want to add to that. That's the thing, it's like, no one makes you. Also, don't let people like put you on this pedestal and be like, I can knock you off, because you're yourself throughout the end.
Quickly as well to add to that, generally, my bad guys, but in terms of what Halima said, like stopping like at the height of your career and like stopping and all of a sudden doors are open left, right and center. I had like a similar situation where you guys probably know I did the music thing, stopped, million doors open. I'm telling you now, it's not just like one, oh, it's just coincidence. It generally does happen, you know what I mean? When you do something for the sake of Allah, like 100%, it will come in tenfold. So I definitely do agree with that.
I think I just want to add one thing. Surround yourself with people who have the same drive than you. Because if you are with people that don't really believe in themselves and don't believe in you, the moment that you feel down, bam, they won't. But always surround yourself people who have the same drive, the same passion, even if it's another passion, but passion for something. And when you're down, they be there to lift you.
Beautiful. أنا بوحد إلا كل هذا إسكسعة والله. At this point, كل هذا إسكسعة. But you know what? If you are around people who have your mindset, who have your drive, who are aspirational, who love what they do the way that you do, and they not only uplift themselves but uplift you in the way that they uplift themselves, that is the best. We have another question over here. Edda has been waiting for a while. Hi, Edda معان.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله شكر رب العالمين مركور وحن ربا أنا أمهد علينا إلهي سبحانه قادر ما أنت يشالي سوكن كان جبوتي أنو عافمات قبنا تنلبات دولة جبوتي وعمر قيل لما ضحكي هاي سجن أمهد علينا ما هنتن كليه سومالي اسم دي عرتي كسر لسنتي لبوا كسر مري مركا واحد وقاتان إن أوجدين أبالك وإن أوجاتين الوير راتيهين ومدن مضح وحين ما نكست أون ماشان قصة عرنا واي وحن ربع أنا ما أنت الشيء جو هرتوا كفر حسنا هاي قبله أن رادين جرني وأن أنا وحمر جوجنو أنت جوجان لكن وأنا قدري I'm very sorry إن أتكعب 60 قرح هي حبض لي سكوت لا علمك أتصبرتين حق اللي كجم بحنو وحن ما أنت كحمة قبل جبوتي وشيغان أيس بريتش ويل سومالي وشيغان محاطر هذا أمريكان أنا هاي كان أنا هاي كده أنا هاي all that أكتيه نهدان سومالي نكتب ذين وحكوا لنا أنت ما هو علنا وحيته هو يوينكا وحبي سوقبتين أبياش ما إنكرينو شقدوا ذي مقالين سأرد برنامج ويدلالي كرين لكن أنا جودها شقد أباها يهوي وحاسكويس هوي ذا اسكويسي waxay soo saartay caruur tiro badan gabdho tiro badan oo fikradiina qabo oo xabadda ku wax ku bartay jaamacad uga soo baxay ilaa heer master joogo marka waxaad ogaataan gabdhaha Soomaaliyeed waa soo dhibtoonay laakiin waxaan ogaaday hadda wax fiican aan qabanno marka sidiina noqda isku kalsoonaada kalsoonida waa wax weyn Soomaaliya wax kasto ka dhaco hooyada Soomaaliyeed marna ma rabto inay banaanka aado waan rabnaa gabdhihii inay banaan noo aadaan wax noo soo bartaan laakiin inay noo soo noqdaan aan rabnaa maxaa jira kuwa kala sugaayo islaanta yaanyada gadayso waxay u baahan tahay sharci magaciis ganacsiga laga hadlaaye ganacsiga aadan ugu fiicnaa lacagta waa raadinaa laakiin lacagta si ku socon lama raadiyo dabaqya xamar ka dhisan dabaqyada dhisan hortoodan waa wasakh mid la rabo waxay tahay horta dabaq aan dhisaayo dadkaan u dhisaayo maskaxda ma dhisno hooy maskax lama soo celin karo laakiin guri waa la dhisi karaa this 4 years oo farmaajaha leeyada waxba isbedelay waxa isbedelay inay naga burinaan rabnaa shirkan aan imaanay waxay tahay experience aan qaatay marka waxaan u haystay macna aniga gabdhahayga Europe waay aniga laakiin waxaan ahay Tanzania san uga soo tagay xamaraan tagay markaan tago waxaan America tagay 15 Minnesota lagu cazumay waxaan tagay school 400 gabdhood dhiganay wiilal Soomaali iyo cadaan waxaan ka naxay markaan meesha ka hadalnay gabar yar ay timid waxay tir waxaan la yiraahdaa pilot iyo shabaab tihiin oo dad maaba ku nool wax bartay oo wax yaqaano islaamaha la eg gabar wasiiradana la socotay xalim yar iyo taqaaniin anigaan ahayn magaratay way aamini waayeen maxaa jira waxa loogu meesha dhinac xuna laga qaataa meediyaha dhinac xuna ka qaataan waxay ogaataan Soomaaliya waa meel qurux badan dhul qurux badan kalluumkaad aragtay macaanta badan la leh geeli joogo ariga joogo haddaysan joognan hadda abaarta dhacday xoolaha dhintay laakiin waa nool yihiin wali 80% waa nool yihiin waxay ku fakadaan xita kalsoonida iyo hooyada Soomaaliyeed oo marka uu aabba joogo meesha waa mahadsantihiin I'm proud of you inshallah assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh
wa alaykum salam thank you very much Edda and Abo I think you had your hand up for a while
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Marka hore aad baan idin salaamay dhamaantay. My question is directly to Halima Adan. As a father of a 2 years old daughter, I have to say I'm extremely proud of you first of all. And secondly, I met you before as well. You are very, very humble person. My question is what keeps you humble? And what you said earlier on was you are a student of life, which is very amazing. Honestly to God, it's touching. One thing I would like to say is three things in life should not control you: your past, money, and people. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
To answer your first question, first of all, good to see you again. And I would say my hoy ma'an keeps me so humble. As soon as I come home to Minnesota, she's like, "Jikadagal." And so it doesn't matter, you know, if you're a top model or whatever, she doesn't want to hear anything about fashion. In our household, we don't discuss my career. You know, I babysit the kids. So that community in St. Cloud, Minnesota, they keep you very, very humble, you know, and alhamdulillah, my people as well. Like, I never want to reach a place where I can't connect to somebody from my community.
Yeah. I love that. Yes, yes, brother. It's not working? Oh, okay. There, soup here, yeah? Please.
horta salaan gaaran idin soo jeedinayaa oo aad baad ugu mahadsan tihiin martii kuma ay tihiinaa Djibouti waa dalkiinii waaye farxad weyna waxa ay aniga magaalada Jarmalka ee Berlin ba ka imiday aragtidiina iyo hawshaad haysiin dhammaantiinba waxaad tihiin ambassador nationkeena baresantaynaya mahad gaara gabdhahan u jeedinayaa gabdhuhu waa qaali waxaan idin sheegayaa waxaad qabateen rag iyagaa burburin maan qabanin adduunyada aad ka muuqatiinna ma ambassaderaad wadatiine waxaan idinku mahadnaqayaa caafimaad iyo cimri dherer midna waan idin odhanayaayoo intaan isku tagayna in imanayno waa noolahay waxa weeyaan badidaan badannahay ummadda Soomaaliyeed waxaan ku noolay gabdhaheenna dhibaato kasta soo maray maanta halkaa isugu keenay farxad gaarana waxaan u jeedinayaa Soomaali gabdheed meel ay joogaan baa dunyada waxaan u jeedinayaa mahad gaar afka Jarmalka kelmad baa jirta la yiraahdo ayna han bishti aan gacaniba gacanta kale sifaysa way idin kala aantii annagu rag hadaan ma gaarina meel idin kala aantii magaalada Djibouti ee iskugu timaadeen waxaan aad mahad gaar idin siinayaa gabadh iyo wiilba Djibouti waa niirigtii caqadeed soo marteen iyo afkooyeen ku wada hadlaynana waa inaad afkeenna xoojisiin sidii afkeenna u noolaan lahaa uu jiri lahaa mahad gaarana waxaan u jeedinayaa madaxweynaha dalkeena Ismaaciil Cumar Geelle nabadda ay noo haya halkan aad isku wada timaadeen ku shirayno aan isku imanayno iyo afadiisa Khadra Maxamed Hayd adeer maanta afkaad ku wada hadlaysiin aan isku fahmayno no matter what kind of language you speak u fiican afkooda eed xoojin dal Jarmal la yiraahdaa tag oo maxaan ku raadaa dawladda Djibouti u jooga ama ka soo shaqeyn laakiin farxad gaar ah haddaan Isbaaniya riis nugtay baan ahay laakiin waxaan ku dadaalay carruurtaydu inay af Soomaali ku hadlaan ay quraankiina dhameeyeen marka waxaan idinku waaninayaa afkeenna aad u xoojiyay allahna idinla qabto si gaarana mahadayda aan idiin laqayo hadeer adigu shakhsi ahaan modelada aad samaysay aad baan u daawaday wax badan baa kula soo kulmay laakiin waad u jilib dhigta waxaan aad ugu farxayaana muuqashadaad ka dhex muuqatid eed xijaabkaaga xidhan tahay ee xijaabka in badan kritiig lagugu sameeyey ood wixii oo dhanba adigu aad mataqaanaa kubaddii goolka dhalisa marka hadal badan xeedhimo buuxshee adeer aad baan idiin salaamayaa ilaahay nabad haydin geeyo waxaanan adeer mar kale idinku waaninayaa ku dadaala karjarkeennii iyo muuqashadeenni waa identiteegeenni nationkeenna soomaaliyeed aad baad adeer u mahadsantihiin ilaahayna nabad haydin geeyo dalkiinnii waxaanan idin leehay adeer sanad wanaagsan bashbashiya barwaaqiya caafimaad iyo cimri dherer baan idiin rajaynayaa
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have to start or can I? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ladi Abdul Umar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ladi Abdul Umar, young entrepreneur of Republic of Djibouti. First of all, I want to thank all of you. Sorry for my English. You'll hear you speaking in French.
No, you're very good.
So, okay, I'm just saying that is my first time to hear International Somali Awards, and I'm very glad to see some people like me, Somalis, very talented, and very, courage with, you know what I mean? You guys are all here in Djibouti, but in future, I would like, you guys working together to make Somalia thing shining, like a diamond. You know what I mean? Okay, today here we are our James Cameron, Lula, and I'm just, you guys, I'm very glad to see you. I just came just a few hours, but I'm very satisfied to see you and to meet you, all of you. But inshallah, guys, next year's, I would like you guys make something very incredible and very beautiful for Somalia people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one sister over there. If you'd like to grab the mic. Hi. Has it been up for a while?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Hello everyone. My name is Mahado Ayyan Mohamed Jama. Local designer. But since Halima Adan came in Djibouti, I will be international designer. Thank you for Isa bringing you here in Djibouti because it gives us, Anaga as a designer, to meet you all guys, to meet you all our biggest inspiration as a Somali people. And Halima Adan choose to wear local design. And I will be dressing Halima Adan. This is a very, oh my God. And once again, thank you, Isa, for choosing Djibouti. And wallahi, horta English kaygu xoogu ma fiicna, so I'll speak Somali. And inanku wuxuu yidhi bay ahayd Soomaalinimadu waxay aad ba u fiican tahay waayo waxay isku keentaa Soomaalidoo dhan bay isku wada keentaa. And success story Soomaaliguna de waa wax anaga na taabsada weeyaan. Marka I'm really proud for all of you. Meel kastoo aad joogtiinba waan wala flow garaynaa. We as a Djiboutian, we speak Somali, so anaga waxaa tihiin walaalaheena tihiin. Soo dhawaada mar labaad Djibouti. And I wish I can dress you, all of you. So tomorrow markaad noqotiin aad tiraahdeen designeradii waddanka ayaan dress gareeyay, no dress up gareeyay. San anaguna horumar u sii gaarno because of you guys. Thank you.
We'll take you and we'll come back to you, okay? After you guys, we'll do 3 more questions and then we're going to wrap up the session so everybody can go out and get some vitamin D. Yes, sister.
Okay, so hi guys. First of all, you're all incredible in your own rights, and we're incredibly proud of everything that you do.
So I wanted to ask actually, and this is like out of absolute curiosity, because I've seen you all speak in your own rights several times, but if you didn't pursue the careers that you're pursuing right now, what would you have done? Like what's another life that you would like to have lived? That's my curious question.
It's a bit particular for me because I fell into this industry. I was already working, I was an adult, I didn't came out from the university, and really I was working in a law firm as an assistant lawyer, and so I was happy. Not very happy because I was a very shy person. That's the reason why I started to enroll in an acting class. But I already had a career, and this is just a second career, so that's, yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have just followed my dad's dreams and become a statistician. So I was doing maths in uni. I enjoyed it until I got to a uni level, and that's when it became too difficult. So yeah, I probably would have been doing stats for some boring company, and I definitely wouldn't be enjoying it. But if I wasn't doing what I was doing now, probably something in the entertainment industry, like maybe in films or something. But yeah, stats, boring stuff.
Chunks, it's not too late. It's not too late. That's a really good question. Actually made me really think, because I don't think I've ever seen myself doing anything that isn't what I'm doing right now. And the reason why I say that is because it can happen in so many different capacities. So like, yes, I'm a journalist, but I'm a storyteller first. And so it's like I could do that in completely different capacities. And I think that is something I through and through enjoy. And I think it would, yeah, it would just be this in a different format, basically.
I mean, I wish I had the vision early on as Muna. But, you know, in 2016, I competed for Miss Minnesota USA for the scholarship money, because I was a freshman at St. Cloud State. And somehow, some way, modeling fell from the sky into my lap the day after the pageant. And so, but I was going to school for international relations. So I definitely would have pursued the NGO world if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now.
Humanitarian regardless. Beautiful question. Wow, that's really got people thinking. Sister over there, after you it's 3 more, and then guys, we're wrapping it up. Yes,
what about you?
Oh. I studied political science. I did a lot of work with the government, and I realized I hated working for other people. I can't do that. Art is my life, it's my soul. So it's hard to say what I would be if not here. I would be who I am in another creative world, I guess. Yeah. Still a poet. Come on, girl. Yeah, still a poet. Poetry lives on forever. Sister over there will take your question.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. You're good.
Hi. My English is good, but I'm very nervous because I don't speak in public. First of all, congratulations to you all. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Djibouti. For most of you, I think it's your first time in Africa, right?
My first time, yeah.
Your first time in Africa. Do you like it so far?
Well, shit moya walai, but it's good. I love it. I love Africa. I do.
You used the word, you said it was an experience. I don't know if that was a bad thing or a good thing. But yeah, it is a good experience, and I hope you enjoy your stay here. So, first of all, I'm a big fan of Halima, big fan of Muna. I follow you on Instagram, also Chuck. And Lula, she's a local star. And my question is, actually I have 2 questions. I'm going to be very brief. I'll try my best. My first question is for all of you, if you want to answer it, is there's so much pressure on us young generation to be perfect, to always strive for the best. And some of us are just maybe leading ordinary life, and we have job maybe that we don't like, but we do it because they pay the bill, and we are in the figuring out process. But somehow, because everyone else is succeeding and everyone else is doing their best thing and being the best version of themselves, we feel like we are falling behind and we already failed at life, and there's absolutely nothing to save, like it's a ship that has gone down a long time ago. So I wanted your advice on those people who are very lost, just like me, but know that they want to be somewhere in life and are still trying to figure out. My second question is for Halima specifically, because I admire your courage, girl. You quit. And who said that quitting was the worst thing? Quitting can be the best thing. Okay, maybe not when you first quit, because you have so many questions in your head, but after that, it's a very good thing. So I really, really congratulate you on that. I know not many people were behind you when you decided to do that. So what I wanted to ask you is, because I study abroad, and there were a time, subhanAllah, shaitan can put ideas into your head. There was a time that I said to myself, if I didn't have a hijab on, if I wasn't a black girl, Somali girl, it would have been easy. It was a slight thought, thanks to shaitan, but I had that moment in my life where I said, it would have been easier if I was just a white girl. So did you ever have moments like that? Not very, very proud of, but did it ever happen to you? And that's my question. And also, thank you guys for allowing me to speak today, and I hope you enjoy your stay here.
Well, first I want to thank you for your kind words. So thank you so much. And to answer your first question, I think everybody, keep your eyes on your own paper. Instagram is BS. Everybody's sharing their highlight, you know? So do not compare your life to somebody's Instagram page when it's not real life. You know, we're all human. And I'm sure all of us could relate to this. You know, you post your best days. Nobody's posting when they're depressed in their room and they have a million things going through their minds. So don't ever compare your journey to somebody else's. And to answer your second question, of course, I'm human, and I've been wearing the hijab since I was 6. You know, in Minnesota, you'll see a 3-month-old girl in a hijab. You know, so I'm very grateful that I've had it for so long through elementary school, middle school, high school, and so now it's like wearing shoes. You know, I don't even think about it. And that's good and bad, you know, because sometimes I feel like just because you wear a hijab, it doesn't make you the best Muslim, and vice versa. Somebody who doesn't wear a hijab might be more connected to the deen than even you are. But when you have those thoughts, I think surround yourself with other women who wear the hijab, especially older women that have been wearing it for a long time. And don't be afraid to ask, how do you get through the hardest times? And for me, I can tell everybody, because of my hijab, I am successful. Without it, I would have been like the millions other models, but because of my hijab, I was able to find success.
Did you want to? Yeah, she makes a really good point, which is sometimes the things, like, you don't want to blend in. You really don't, because then it's even that much harder to stick out. And I think if you look at it as something that's unique to you and you double down on what is unique to you, that is what usually helps you stand out. Horta waxaa rabaa inaan yidhaaho qof dambe ma raba inaan ka maqlo inaad ka shakisan yihiin af ingiriisigooda, because anigoo af faransiiskayga bonjour hadalka mu dambeyn halkaa baan ku joojinaya. So don't worry, you guys. But yes, I think what's really important is when you start comparing yourself to other people, waa sheeko adigu isu dhisaysid. It has nothing, it's not even fact-based, because qofkaan noloshooda maba garanaysid. So waa waxaad adigu markaa iska samaysanaysid, waxaad rabtaa inaad dhulka isla dhacdid. And so it's not necessarily accurate. Another thing is, that's the time where you look at yourself. Adigo waana markaas aragtid ad tirahid maxaa anigu maanta aan qabanaya, yaan anigu ka horeeya, yaa aniga aan dariiq u furaya. And so I think that's a really important part of it. The second part, oh yeah, the hijab. Like that's what I was trying to say, is just like, to me, it's, you have to show up as yourself. You have to be as authentic as possible and realize that, like, it's not because of the hijab that you're not where you are. It is because of the hijab that you're going to open the doors for so many other people. And life is never easy. It's not supposed to be easy. And so instead we take what makes us unique and we double down on it. And also we just realize that it's just another obstacle that gets in our way. And you don't want to show up and feel ashamed of yourself because you're not true to yourself. So.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
About hijab? Men have hijab too, by the way.
Yeah, big up to yourself if you're in hijab and yeah, love.
It's really, again, know yourself and be true to yourself.
Yes.
That's the best thing. And if you want to wear, you wear. If you have doubts, talk with elderly, like Fatima said, and Muna. And really, the key thing is be yourself. Whether you wear a hijab, whether you don't wear a hijab, whether you speak English or Somali or French, be authentic and know who you are. And if you're having doubts, try to surround yourself by people that are kind and that you can talk to.
Can I just throw a reminder in there? I just want to remind you that the only creation of Allah that were created without fluctuating iman are the angels. Remember that. So we have 2 more questions. Sister over there has had her hand up for a while. So we'll go over there and then we'll take sister in the white hijab. Beautiful. Actually, we'll make it 3. We'll make it 3. So you 2 and you, brother. Beautiful.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا الصومالي بنقول أحد هدوء الصومالي يقول شعنينا. مقعد واحد على بدر حسين ليبان. وحنا هاي artist or plastician, or in English is plastician artist. I think that's the way we say. And fashion designer. waxaan doonay inaan yiraahdo waan gala socdaa suuq Instagram, Facebook, YouTube waxa soo idil waad mahadsantihiin intaad Djibouti timaadeen waxa su'aasha kaliya inaan weydiiyo doonay waxa weeyaan dhalinyarteenu waxa u baahnaayeen model hay eegtaan oo tusaale u noqda kolka idinku maxaaday adduunyada idil baan iliga imika ahaan iliga daawadaa iliga arka kolka maxaad dhalinyarteenu ku oran lahaydeen maxaad ku waanin lahaydeen maxaaday oo u noqon lahaydeen tusaale weyn marka waad mahadsantihiin.
I guess the question is, what would you advise the youth with?
I'll answer in English because the Somali is not top tier. My advice for the younger generation would just generally to be to go for your dreams. It sounds cliched, but just like take a risk and just try something new, try something different. But to always have contingency plans as well. It's like, obviously I wanted to do what I'm doing now, but if it wasn't to work out, there will always be plan B up until plan Z or Z, as the Americans say. So it's literally, yeah, just to take a risk. That's what I'd definitely say.
Yes, take a risk.
anigu taladan dhalinyarada siin lahaa waxa weeyaan wixii aan markii yiri waxa weeyaan shaki hasgalin ogaa in aad wax doonaysid marka maskaxdaada aad ku qabatid inaad sameyn karaysid waxa kale in ana qofna ka fariisanayn inuu inaad dariiq kastaba furi karaysid rabtid inaad qaadan karaysid waxa kale aan oran lahaa runtii stay curious, you know what I mean? kolba waxbarashadu ma aha un ina la school la tago ina xisaab iyo history waxa kale la barto waxbarashadu waxa weeyaan ina dadka su'aalo weydiisid intaad curious noqotid in aad inta bugaagna akhridid wax kasta baratid.
You said everything.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, beautiful. We'll leave that with you. We got 2 more questions. Oh, you want to answer? Okay.
والله sidii la yiri baan waxaan oran lahaa horta isku kalsoono waa inaad isku kalsoonaataa marmar baa jira aanad aad isku kalsoonaan karin markasta bil aadan baa too oo shaki ka gali kara markaad naftaada la sheekaysinaysid sidoo shaki ka galana amba waalidka ku weeco amba asxaabta ku weeco amba dad sidaadoo kala ah la sheekaysto laakiin markasta waxaad ogaataa waxaad aad istiraadid waad sameyn inaad sameyn kartid haddaad si daacada adu shaqaysatid ta ilaahay waa xageega taadana fuli.
Beautiful. Thank you. We had the 2 more questions. You, sister in the white hijab, and then the brother in the blue.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Let me first start off by saying I'm honored to be in front of such incredible people and having for the first time the honor to be here in front of you all. I'm sure all of you at some point had to deal with self-doubt and insecurities. So here's my question: how to fight your internal doubts and insecurities?
Yeah, I think for me with insecurities, I kind of just worked on them because obviously it's a thing where it was heightened as the comment sections in my videos and stuff would highlight my insecurities, and it's a thing where like it was fine because I managed to deal with it in and amongst my friendship groups because kind of everyone knows everyone's insecurities and wouldn't really touch upon it. but when it's on the internet, it's brutal. So I was kind of reminded non-stop about my insecurity. So I worked on myself, but with the doubt, I didn't really have doubt in my like ability. That's one thing where, like I said, you have to always believe you're the best and truly believe you're the best. Insecurities is a different thing. People deal with it differently. For me, my insecurities was always being a bit bigger as a person. So I kind of just went to the gym. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, people deal with insecurities differently. My thing was to work on it.
And everyone has doubts, one time or another in their lives. And I think the best, for me, the best way to fight that was to take a pause and then try to surround myself with people that have the same mindset than me. Because when I'm having doubts, the person next to me, my friend who has the same drive, is there to say, no, it's just an obstacle. You will go over that obstacle. And as you say, boqol jeer baad kufi, boqol jeer baad kici.
Yep. Beautiful.
That's a really good question. I think it's interesting to know, and sometimes you have to constantly remind yourself, because even like Chunks and I were having a conversation before this, and to hear like some of the insecurities that he had when he was starting out, and it's like you think you're alone in it sometimes, right? And you're like, oh no, I was the only person who was so uncertain about this. Everyone else is secure in what they do, because you see the confident person, you see the end result, but it's not true. And even when you are where you want to be, there's still always those doubts in your head. You think, you know, am I not the same person? Did I lose it? There's always that questioning, and I think some of it is a good thing, right? Because you always want to make sure that you're staying true to yourself. You also want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. But I think a lot of it, especially if it's negative, is just chatter. And I think you have to learn how to silence yourself. And I think part of it is, in the kindness that I was talking about, is, okay, maybe I'm not the best at this. That's fine. I'm working on getting better. So you focus on like what you're doing to get to where you want, rather than all the things you lack. Think of the things that you have strengths in. And last point I was going to make is, Lula makes a really great point, which is insecure people often project their insecurities onto you, or their fears. So if you say today that I want to be president of whatever country that you live in, and people are going to be like, yeah, good luck with that, because they have never thought that big. They've never. But the whole point is, if you are with like-minded people, or people that believe in you, then they're also going to help you figure out different paths. They're going to reaffirm that you are capable. They're going to reaffirm that you are worthy of this. Or another thing is, also you have brainstorming, right? You also have, you can bounce ideas off of each other. And so that's why Halima said this, but be careful of the company you keep and the things that you let invade your space.
Beautiful.
I think I would say sometimes you just need to unplug and take a social media detox. And I could also reassure you, you know, I've worked in fashion, and some of the most insecure people I've ever met, you know, they're not the little girls in Minnesota. They're actually supermodels, top models. And so know that you're not alone in having insecurities. It's a very human thing to have. But I would just say don't compare your journey to somebody else's, as hard as that may seem to do. You just have to stay focused on yourself and be kind to yourself, like Muna was saying earlier, you know. And I think it's also an age thing. Who I was at 19 when I was just starting out is not who I am today at 24. And I think the older we get, the more secure we are with ourselves. And exactly like Muna said, a lot of, you know, times it's people projecting their fear onto you, and it really has nothing to do with you. So just take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, we love that. Yes, yes, yes. And we have our last questioner of the evening, or the morning. Or
Thank you very much, Efrah. I'm a big fan. I like the way you mix with the poetry, Somali and English.
Thank you.
I've got two questions, one for Chunks. Would you add your songs to Somali lyrics? Because we are the nation of poets. As you know, like Hadrawi is the Shakespeare of Somalia. So that's one question. And the other one is for Muna. Can you read the news in Somali? If you can you try it now?
What a great way to end the session.
Music's something that I stopped. So I used to love to delve into the music scene. But for me, I don't know, it was just my guilty conscience. I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I do still sing, like just at home and stuff, and maybe even on my Instagram and Snapchat. So I will definitely try and sing more Somali songs, because I do like a Somali sing song. But in terms of mixing it together, I don't know if I'm that talented just yet. But I'll be singing, so you just watch out for the social media, yeah?
I'm really amazed at like the group of people that are on the stage right now, because if you think about it, Lula was saying how she had a whole different career path, changed it, pursued this. This is her second career within a lifetime. Chunks is trying music, he's trying different things, videos, and Halima too. Like, she just walked away and was like, thank you for your service, and now is pursuing other things, and is also humanitarian. So it's just, if you walk away with anything today, you should walk away with the fact that like, it is never too late to start over, or like, it's not even starting over, you're just moving on to something else. To answer your question, no, I cannot. But no, it's not because I don't want to, or if I could, I would. So here's the thing, I'll practice, and I'll make a video one day, inshallah.
But you can speak Somali proper, so you can try it.
لكن marka warka sheegayaan si dhaqso ah hadlaan, and then kelmadahana waa inaan bartaa kelmadaha isticmaalaan iyo nashqada sida warka u sheegaan.
Wararka naga soo gaaraya something like that, yeah.
Love it. So we have ended our session. If we could give it up to the beautiful panelists and creatives today. Thank you. And have a wonderful and what time is it? Day. Thank you. I'm on Canadian time. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you guys. Hello.
Yes, I have just one last question. Sorry, guys. You know, I'm in charge of organizing Miss Djibouti this year. We don't have a Miss Djibouti yet, and this will be the first time that we'll make the concours, Miss Djibouti concours. And I would like one advice for Halima Adan, because it will be very difficult for our parents, for Djibouti parents, in laga daadiciyo gabadhi inuu qurux badan waxay ka tartami karaysaa Miss Djibouti. It's very complicated. So how will you advise for the parents, and especially for young girls, in a Miss Djibouti concours ka soo qayb galaan? Please.
I think it's difficult. You know why? When I told my mom, "Hoy, maxaa ka qayb galaa Miss Minnesota USA," she was like, "Waxaas maxaa waaye?" And then markay aragtay what it was isku naxda. Because she was like, "Gabartayda, like, mis qaawini rabta, like, se ku gali karta, like, a competition where 99% of the dumar way qaawin yihiin." And so maxaa dhihi lahaa, the good thing about Miss Djibouti is gabdhaha way is asturayan. It's not as complicated as like Miss Minnesota USA, you know. So maxaa dhihi lahaa, if you have a scholarship leg to it or a component to it, maxaa ka dhaadhicin karta the parents. You know, this is gonna help them build a platform to do what they want to do in the future, you know. And I think this year, since it's gonna be the first time, make it as inclusive as you can. Get girls from all different walks of life all over Djibouti. And then next year, okay, because I have a quick story to tell you. When I did it in 2016, I was the first. And then I come back 1 year later, and there's 8 Somali hijab wearing girls that competed. And this time they had their whole families in the audience. So I would just say the first year might be a little rough, but trust me, the second year, everybody's gonna come and support.
Love that. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the International Somali Awards tonight. Love that. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the International Somali Awards tonight.